So I welcome you all to the session 2, part 1 of the secrets of the 7th Bhava. Okay. See, time is extremely important. Time is as precious as gold. So every minute that you're getting to learn, every minute that you get in order to contemplate and apply, you should make use of it, right? And I make it a point that everything that I apply, that I use, anything that comes to my knowledge, I make it a point that I share it with every one of you. So make use of your time because time is precious. It's extremely precious. There's nothing more important and precious than time, right? All of you go on mute. Again, you need to understand one important thing. In general, we study rules, we study their application. But in general, as you go through the study of this Shastra, this wonderful, beautiful Shastra, and you keep contemplating and applying it in your day-to-day life, there are many things that you can observe, you can infer upon, and you will be able to experience a completely different dimension, right? This is what we call as a perspective. So there is one important perspective, there is one important experience, obviously considering the module that we are covering, that I want to share with all of you, right? What is this experience? The experience is very, very simple. I want you all to itch this, to make sure that you write it down in all the corners of your heart. It is very, very simple. It may sound extremely simple, but nonetheless, it is very, very profound. The experience is there is absolutely no disappointment. There is absolutely no failure in life as long as you don't have any expectations towards life. I'm repeating it again. As long as you don't have expectations, it could be from the situations around you, it could be from the people around you. There is absolutely no failures that you're going to have, right? There are absolutely going to be no disappointments that you're going to have. This is a very, very profound concept. And I want you all to understand it because this is coming out of experience. See, let's say you've booked a train and you've planned to travel to a particular place. And, while going to the station, your mindset is, if I get a seat, okay, fine. But even if I don't get a seat, as long as I reach the place, that is more than enough for me. I don't mind going standing in the train, right? I don't have to get a seat. If I get a seat, it's fine, it's good. The moment you approach with that mindset and just say, or just in case you got a seat, you would be absolutely delighted, isn't it? And that is how life is. That is how situations in your life comes forward, right? That is the kind of situations that you need to meet frequently. Now, why are you telling this? And what is the context here? It's extremely attached to the context of our discussion here pertaining to the module on the 7th Bhava, because here, anything and everything beyond you is your 7th Bhava. You are the Lagna. Anybody who you call who's not you is the 7th Bhava. The opposite is the 7th Bhava. So the immediate thing that obviously comes to our mind is Kalatra or marriage. So the moment you ideally go about and get into this notion or get into this inference in life, what do I need? I just need somebody to call my wife. Right? I just need somebody to call as a partner. Whoever she is, whatever she is, whichever family she comes from, she is good for me. Again, for a Stree, Who do I need? I need somebody to call him my partner, my husband, right? Whoever he is, however he is good for me. He is my partner. So when your expectations are like that, right? So both of us join together. What happens? We have a child. Whether it's a boy or a girl, both of them are equally lucky for us. If it's a girl, the Lakshmi is born into the household. So when you cultivate a mindset like that, immediately you will see that your life is indeed beautiful, indeed wonderful. So the moment you keep your expectations extremely low, pertaining to what you expect from others, there is absolutely no disappointments. There is absolutely no failures, right? So, if you understand life, and if you actually have been through this journey called as life, you would understand the key to all the sufferings that we go through in life is purely out of our expectation, is purely out of our desire. So the moment we learn to minimize that, and that's the reason, as you mature, as you get older, then only you realize it, then only you mature. In a young age, you have your own whims and fancies. But if you start learning this early on in life, you would have a sweet life. You would have a wonderful life. See, one person, he joins for a job, and his first job, his first salary is 10,000 rupees. And he's like, 10,000 rupees. What will I do with this 10,000 rupees? But you also need to realize this important fact that there is somebody who is earning 7,000 rupees. For him, that 7,000 rupees, which he is earning, for him, that 10,000 rupees is a huge money, is a raise indeed, right? Again, you should look at life with complete amusement. You should look at life from a different perspective. Another perspective, though it may not sound very, very realistic, is very simple. That same 10,000 rupees, if I count it 2 times, doesn't it become 20,000 rupees? So I can actually find a peace to my mind, give a solace to my mind, even using such simple ways to look at life. I'm not literally telling you to count that way, but you should creatively look at life in order to see how you can actually go about and live with what is there. Live with the minimal amount of expectations, because you need to all realize one important fact. You are one, and there are so many who are opposite to you, which is the 7th bhava. You cannot expect everybody to be as per your liking, or you cannot succumb to the liking of others. So the moment you actually go about and remove this thing called as expectation, life, the people around you, the way you see life around you would immediately change, and you would get something called as tripti, right? So the moment you get that tripti, which is what? Satisfaction. That is when life is at absolute peace, right? Whatever comes, whatever I get, whoever comes, I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it. This is okay. This is enough. When you create that mindset unnecessarily, one, you wouldn't strain yourself. Two, you would actually get the energy, a wonderful amount of energy to actually do a lot of more work. And that in turn can actually go about and give you this result. So when you cultivate a mindset like that, that one, it would give you the tripti, it would give you the satisfaction, it would give you the mental peace. And most importantly, you would spend your valuable, precious time in seeking things which are more important, or at least pursuing the thing which is important to you, or pursuing that thing which is actually important, right? So the moment you attach this thing called as, what? I am expecting from something. I'm expecting from someone. I want it like this. I want it like that. That is where the misery of life starts. The moment you get into this habit of satisfaction from where you are, what you get, then there is absolutely no loss in life. There is absolutely no disappointment in life. So this is a small experience that I want all of you to think over. I want all of you to apply. You'll find people, right, who'd be cribbing and crying that, I don't have a house of my own. But just next to that person, or even if you happen to be that person, I've lived so many years, 50 years have passed on. I don't even have a house of my own. What am I going to do for my future? What are the children going to do? If you're cribbing or if you're crying like that, you would be surprised to find another person who's just living next to you. He would be happy go lucky in life and he wouldn't be owning his house. You just had to go and ask him this question. See, you don't have a house of your own. You're almost my age. Aren't you worried? Aren't your children getting old? What are you going to do for your future? You'd be surprised. Many of them would say that, you know what? This thought of owning a house itself did not come into my mind. So his level of what expectation is minimal. And he is in your same age. And he happens to be enjoying life, right? This is how it is. So you see the bliss in what you have. And that is the secret to life, right? So this is how it is. The more you raise expectations in life, the more the trouble that you're going to create. The more you expect out of others, the more the problems that you're going to get in life, right? Okay. So keeping this in mind, let's march ahead. Let's move ahead to the 7th bhava. Before, just getting into the grahas in the 7th bhava, there is a very important information pertaining to the 7th bhava, which I'm obligated to give you all, because as much as possible, certain things which would be added in the advanced class would immediately be given to you, because, it should not be that you keep waiting, waiting, waiting. No, there are certain things that you should immediately make use of. And I would love to give them all to you, but it should not confuse you. So here, let's start with one important, very important thing that all of us miss out on. One is what we call as a nakshatra in its own lordship, what is also referred to as Soya Saram. Soya means what? Own. Shara means what? The graha is in its own nakshatra. So is it good? See, it is definitely good in many ways, because why? It indicates strength. So let's say a graha, like for example, Guru. Guru is in the nakshatra of Guru. So he is in his own nakshatra. Suya Shara, right? So it is considered to be in strength, right? And it is definitely going to go about and give goodness in so many ways. So that is understood. That is not ruled out. But here you also need to understand one important thing here. Here, it gives you that result. But when we are talking about a graha in its own nakshatra, like for example, let's say the Lagna Lord, right? Let's say the Lagna Lord happens to be Moon, Chandra. And let's say the Lagna Lord happens to be in Hasta Nakshatra, Shravana Nakshatra, which is also called as Tirumona Nakshatra, or Rohini Nakshatra. That means what? The Lagna Lord is in his own nakshatra, right? Good. So now what will happen to this person? The thing that you need to know is these people, they will decide matters by themselves. They won't ask or they won't take the consent of others. So this is what? This is for the Lagna Lord getting into the Soya Shara, or the Lagna Lord in its own nakshatra. This is one. Now you can actually go about and apply this rule to all the bhavas. So let's say the 4th bhavadibadi in the horoscope is in his own nakshatra, right? So what will happen here when it comes to his sukhas in life? When it comes to vahana, which is in the form of vehicles, when it comes to property, home, when it comes to matters pertaining to his mother, right? In all these affairs, he will decide things on his own accord, which means it's his way. It's his say or the highway. So now, the 4th, the Lagna Lord, okay, fine. So as you're going in this order, now if the 7th Bhavadibadi in the horoscope is in its own nakshatra, in its Suya Shara, now what happens? Now, you as a parent, you as a family member, or even you, if you have that, and I'm sure all of you have crossed that age of marriage, but there could be a lot of people, a lot of listeners. One, you're deciding on marriage for your kids or for your clients, for your customers, or even if you had to be in that age group of getting married, then you need to be extremely careful here, right? Because you are going to actually go about one, pursue marriage on your own accord, which means whenever you see the 7th Bhavadibadi in its own nakshatra, write down in matters of marriage, they will be the decision making authority, which means they will take the decision pertaining to the marriage, and they would not get the tripti or the satisfaction pertaining to marriage. These are all beautiful rules. These are all rules that you can just see in a horoscope and apply point blank, just like that. And you would be surprised as to how it works. You will be saying it's in his own nakshatra, so he's strong. But here you also need to understand this is also what happens on the contrary. You should be careful here. So, what will happen to them? They will pursue marriage on their own accord. And what? The tripti associated with marriage won't be there. Sir, if I am pursuing a marriage on my own accord, why I won't get the tripti? Because you are pursuing it on your own accord. Remember, when it comes to a marriage, an alliance, it's always good to take not the opinion necessarily, but it's a collective process where everybody gives their suggestion for what? For a common good, which means it is not a selfish motive here. It's for you, it's for your family, it's for your child, it's for the entire family, it's for the other person's family. But in this case, the decision would be what? For me. So the moment a decision is just for you, there's bound to be problems in the future, right? It is just that you're taking a decision in the frenzy of a hormone, right? And there is bound to be problems, right? So you should also learn to actually go about and think in these lines, right? Because these are all things I'm sharing to you. You've been traveling with me for such a long while. 1 year easily complete for most of you. But you should also travel and think. That is when the purpose of learning itself is satiated upon, right? That is when you would be able to guide 4 or 5 people. That is the only purpose here. The purpose here that you should be the guiding light to many a people to come. And you all have that capability. You all have that skill. You all have that adeptness. The only thing that you need to do is put your time and effort to it. So this is how it is, which means now you can write down when Mars or Mangala is in its own nakshatra, right? Then care and attention pertaining to marriage is required. Why care and attention to marriage is required? Same thing what I told you. In bracket, it mostly works in a Stri's horoscope. Next, when Shukra is in its own nakshatra, then attention is required for marriage. In bracket, you put mostly works for men. So you see Mars in its own nakshatra in a Stri's horoscope. That means what? There's a lot of possibility that the Stri would decide on her husband, right? She would take the decision as per her own accord. And the satisfaction associated with the marriage won't be there in the later years to come. Shukra for male. The 7th Bhavadipati, write down, right? The only purpose of giving the control of the mute button to use, just to interrupt only when you've not written something, when you want me to repeat something, when my voice is not audible. Otherwise, don't unmute yourself until I tell you to unmute yourself. It's for your own good, so that when you listen back to the entire recording, you would be able to easily go through the revision. Remember, revision is extremely important. So Mars for whom? Three in its own nakshatra, Shukra for male in its own nakshatra, and the seventh bhavadibadi in his own nakshatra should be careful for whom? Both the boy and the girl, pertaining to what? Pertaining to this department, especially in the form of marriage. Right? You should be careful. Right? What will it do? Write down. It will give marriage early, and after giving them an early marriage, it gives them difficulties and challenges. What does it do? It gives marriage early for them, and after that, it gives them difficulties, challenges. So, what happens owing to difficulties and challenges? Right? One, it will give separation, else, it will give bitterness pertaining to the relationship. Right? For a few of them, it will give them marriage as per their own accord. It will give them marriage as per their own accord, which means what? It will go about and stimulate them in order to go about and pursue an alliance of their own accord. See, these are the varieties in which it functions. Seventh Bhava Adhipati in its own nakshatra, Shukra in his own nakshatra, or Mars in his own nakshatra. What are the possibilities here? Early marriage happens. Why? Because we need to understand both Shukra and Mars, they are considered to be hormonal planets. And early marriage comes. And early means what? It is not completely planned. It is unprepared. It is in the gush of that hormone. And later on, what happens? It gives you that separative tendencies, right? Because what? It creates challenges and difficulties pertaining to marriage. It gives you that bitterness. A few of them, what it does, it gives them that stimuli to pursue the marriage on their own accord. Right? So this is a combination that, or this is the way you would find in so many horoscopes where they say that, you know what, my marriage life is not good. And somebody would be predicting seventh lord in its own nakshatra. It's working out. It's working out because of that. No, this is the way it is going. Right? Next, golden rule. These are all wonderful golden rules, and you should not let go of them because this would just give you an immediate tap way to actually go about and predict. When the Badakadipati, is in his own nakshatra, when the Badakadipati is in his own nakshatra, right? I will also give you a chart. You don't have to worry, right? You will be able to understand it better. And when it is associated with the seventh bhava, I'm again repeating, when the Badakadipati is in his own nakshatra, right? Suya Shara, and is associated with the seventh bhava, again, care and attention pertaining to the marriage is required. So even for those who have this, there should be care and attention pertaining to marriage. When I say care and attention, what am I telling? You should look into the horoscope properly, especially of the person who's marrying this person, and then approve or disapprove of the relationship or the alliance. Right? So, what I want all of you to do is I want you all to cast an example horoscope. All of you do that. Well, I'm just connecting the iPad to the Mac. So, all of you cast a horoscope. Put the Lagna as Kumbha Lagna. So now all of you get to the chat box I don't want any one of you to unmute. So Kumbha Lagna. Who's the Badakadipati for Kumbha Lagna? The Badakesha. Who's the Badaka Lord for Kumbha Lagna? Can you just put in the chat box? Any one of you? Kumbha Lagna. Very good, very good, very good, very good. So, right. So all of you are on the same page. Right? So what I'm going to do is Kumbha Lagna. Who's the Badakadipati for Kumbha Lagna? It is Shukra Bhagwan. Right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Shukra, who's the Badakadipati, right, in the 7th bhava, right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is Shukra, I'm going to put Shukra in Purva Falguni Nakshatra or Pura Nakshatram, Puram as a Nakshatram, right? So I'm putting Shukra, right, in the 7th bhava. That is not the only thing that I'm doing. I'm putting Shukra in Purva Falguni Nakshatra, right? Now, let me repeat the rule. When the Badakadipati, the Badakesha, the Lord of the Badaka house, is in his own nakshatra, Shukra in the nakshatra of Shukra here, and is associated. See, here I'm directly putting it in the 7th bhava. It does not necessarily have to be in the 7th bhava. Is associated with the 7th bhava, then one needs to be careful while pursuing marriage. Right? So there should be care here. See, when you're born itself, you're destined for certain things, right? You're destined to marry somebody. You're destined to get this kind of a property. You're destined to enjoy a certain kind of a wealth. See, all of that is understood. Okay. But the point here is there are two options here. One is to at least know what I'm destined for. Why do I need to know what I'm destined for? Because there is something called as Vithi, which is my destiny. There is something called as Mati, which is my intelligence. There are two ways to look at it. One is to use my Mati. I've told you what to use Mati for in so many classes. But another important use of your Mati is, you know what? This is my life. I know it. The astrologer has told me. This is what I'm destined for. And now, since I know what I'm destined for, let me accept it. That is also the work of Mati. And the moment you do that, then what are you doing? You're accepting your Vithi using your Mati, then there is no problem in life. So it is for that that you need to actually have what? A clarity. This is more or less the alliance that I'm going to be getting. So I need to be prepared for it. I need to accept it. And I need to know how to navigate my life with it. This is what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to cast another horoscope. Right. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put Simha Lagna. Okay. And you're going to put Mars, Mangala in the 7th bhava, in the nakshatra of Dhanishta or Avittam. Avittam for people in Tamil Nadu, right? So now, here, what happens here? Badakadipati in his own nakshatra. Who's the Badakadipati for Simha? Obviously, Mangala, Mars. Where is he? He is in his own nakshatra. Is he associated with the 7th? Yes, he is associated with the 7th. As it is, we discussed one rule. What is the rule here? For a Stri's horoscope. So just in case this is a Stri's horoscope, as it is, Mars is in his own nakshatra. Care and attention is required. 2, he's the Badakadipati. He is in his own nakshatra. He is associated with the 7th bhava. Then care and attention is required. Right? So this is also a very, very, very important rule that you need to keep in mind. Right? Okay. The next. Generally, the Badagadipati, when it is in the Kutumbasthana. Remember, I'm using my words. I'm framing the rules very, very carefully so that you don't get confused. So write as I'm telling. Generally, when the Badagadipati is in the Kutumbasthana, remember, my respected students, the more and more you actually go about and commit to understanding the relationship between a bhava and the other, or just understanding the bhavas itself, right? You can just stun everybody with your prediction. You can be the best of best astrologers. There are no two ways about it, right? So what is the Kutumbasthana here? The sthana for your Kutumba is the second bhava. So general rule, when the Badagadipati is in the Kutumba sthana, what it does is, write down, it gives love, intercaste marriages for them or in the family. I will tell you how in the family later on. For them in the family. Write down 80%. So 80%, you can immediately apply the rule bang on. You see the Badagadipati in the second bhava, say that, you know what? There's a lot of possibility for what? For either a love marriage or an intercaste marriage. Simple, easy rule in order to go about and understand this. Apply it. And you can also share. The moment I tell you all to unmute yourself, you also can share. How many of you had love marriages? How many of you had marriages which are intercaste marriages? And this would be a beautiful golden rule to come into a conclusion upon, right? Okay. So this will be there for many people, right? Now, I want you to actually go about, and there's another different, completely altogether dimension obviously related to this rule. Ma'am, only if it's a valid question, urgent question, go ahead, make use of the mute button, PX11, 12. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if you can just repeat this point gives love marriage, intercaste marriage in family 80%.
When the Badagadipati is in the Kudumbasthana, which is the Kudumbasthana, ma'am, the second bhava, no?
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir.
There will be love marriage for this person, right? Family, I'm just going to tell you now from a different context altogether. Clear? Immediately you can say, when you see a horoscope, is it a love marriage? Or is this person from a different jati, different kula, different community? The answer will be a yes, right? Okay. Now, I want you all to cast a horoscope. Now, we've discussed for the Jataka. Now, let's look at it for the family. Very simple way to look at it, but you'd be just surprised as to how rules work, right? So what you're going to do now is cast another horoscope. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put the lagna. It's not specific to the lagna, as I tell many times, right? But just for the convenience of student in the northern part of India, I would put the lagna. But first, start without the lagna. What you're going to do is you're going to put Sun in Mithuna Rashi, right? So what does the Sun signify? The Sun signifies your father. The Sun signifies your father-in-law, right? Now, if Sun is in Mithuna Rashi, right? So for Mithuna, which becomes the Kudumbasthana? Kadaka becomes the Kudumbasthana, right? Now, Kadaka, who's what? Who's ruled by Chandra Bhagwan, becomes the Kudumbasthana. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put Guru Bhagwan here. Now, just for the sake of convenience for the people in the northern part of India, right? Let's put the Lagna as Kumbha Lagna, right? Okay. So again, I'm repeating. Sun, which signifies my father, Sun, which signifies my father-in-law, is in Mithuna. The second from Mithuna would signify what? My father's family, my father-in-law's family. Now, for Mithuna Rashi, who becomes the Badakadipati? The Badakadipati is Guru. Where is Guru? Guru is in the second from Sun, which signifies my father or my father-in-law. So I can come to a conclusion what? That my father or my father-in-law would have pursued what? A intercaste marriage or a love marriage. This is how it will work for whom? For the family. All of you, are you able to understand this concept? If you don't, please raise your hands. Yes, can I have a yes from all of you? Right. So this is also the way as to how you can actually go about and apply the rule. Immediately you can ask them this question, right? The second is the Kudumbasthana. The moment the Badakadipati is involved, immediately you can predict most of the times it would be a love marriage or an intercaste marriage, right? So this is how it is. Now, the question that some of you can ask me is, sir, you told specifically that if the Badakadipati is in the Kudumbasthana, sir, my Badakadipati is not in the Kudumbasthana, but he is aspecting the Kudumbasthana, right? So now what will happen? So let us say, instead of putting Guru here, I put Guru in Makara, right? So he's aspecting the Kudumbasthana. Now what will we say? Here, the rule is not complete, which means the rule will just work accurately. When I'm telling you 80%, most of the times it will come, it would just work to the dot when the Badakadipati is in the Kudumbasthana. But in most of the times, when it is not in the Kudumbasthana and aspecting the Kudumbasthana, what will they say? They would say that, you know what, I did get an opportunity like that. I did get the opportunity to pursue something to do with a marriage out of my own will. Or there was a possibility for me to actually go about and consummate a marriage, which was an intercaste relationship. That chance or that opportunity came for whom? Those have the aspect, but I did not pursue it. So this is what you would get from people. Okay. Now, can we actually go about and convert this rule in a different format? I told you Badakadipati in the second. Sorry, Badakadipati, yes, in the second. So can we say the Kudumbadipati, which means what? The Kudumba Sthanadipati, which is the second Bhava Lord. If he is in the Badakasthana, can we apply this rule? Yes, absolutely. You can go about and apply rule. This will work at least a 50% of the time. So these are the ways I want you all to contemplate upon. Even though I call this something which is advanced, it is not at all advanced. What I'm teaching you is LKG, UKG astrology. But the moment you understand the concept, what I'm going to do here on is I'm going to give you the points which are minimal. I'm just going to give you 4, 4, 4, 5, 5 points, because after that, as we move to the practice sessions, the advanced sessions, that is when you would be able to go about and apply and learn, right? Because whatever we are going to apply is only from our learning. See, the practice sessions would be announced next month onwards. During the practice sessions, all of you, whatever you've learned, you need to keep the book with you. It is going to be an open book examination. It's not even an examination. Examination is a very heavy word to use. You're going to examine the horoscope only based on what you studied. So you can just open the book. You can keep that as we go about and do the practice session. The only thing that you would understand, or the only thing that would become extremely clear and extremely to the point during the practice session, is just one thing. That is, I need to revise what I learned in the bhavas. Because the moment we actually apply all these rules in the practice session, you will know, okay, this is the rule that I learned. This is what I learned. That is what I learned. And I'm applying, which means I need to refresh my knowledge again and again. I need to go and make sure that I revise the bhavas again and again, right? That is what you would absolutely learn during the practice session, because we are just going to apply what we learned here. So whatever you've learned, you need to keep revising it again and again and again. And that is how it works. Okay. Next, write down the next. You can write down. Next point is very important. Okay. This is also a golden rule. If this is good or if this is taken care of, these are like the important precursors or the only points that you need to look into when you're pursuing something to do with, what? Marriage as such. If this is correct in a person's horoscope, okay, you can come to a conclusion that, what? Marriage is going to be fine. Write down. The Nakshatradibadi of the 7th Bhavadibadi should not be in the 3, 6, 12 association with the 7th Bhavadibadi. And again repeating, the Nakshatradibadi of the 7th Bhavadibadi should not be in the 3, 6, 8, 12 association to or with the 7th Bhavadibadi. Again, it should also not be debilitated. This is additional. It should also not be debilitated, which means the 7th Bhavadibadis, right? Nakshatradibadi should not be debilitated. The 7th Bhava is sitting on a nakshatra. That nakshatra lord should not be debilitated. And that nakshatra lord should not have a 3, 6, 8, 12 association with whom? With the 7th Bhavadibadi. See, I will give you the explanation, but I just want you to pay your attention here. Why? Because if you actually just take home this rule today and you apply it on all the horoscopes that you see where there is a broken marriage, where there's extreme problem pertaining to the marriage, you will get your confirmation and you can report that back to me. First is you take the rule here, you contemplate on the rule, you apply that when you actually are in your home free and when you're revising the rule and applying it on other horoscopes. Don't immediately bring in the horoscopes here. Otherwise, it would be a blatant misuse of time, right? So make use of the class in order to go about and learn. Make use of your time at home in order to go about and apply the rules, because these are the result of rules applied. So there is nothing too much to contemplate upon apart from contemplation on your side, right? So what happens here, right? This is something that you need to see for both a Stree and a Purusha, right? And next you can write down, likewise, which means what? The same rule. Likewise, you should see for Shukra in a male horoscope. How would you see Shukra? Shukra in a male horoscope. Shukra is in a nakshatra. So the nakshatra in which Shukra is, that nakshatra lord, what? He should not have a 3, 6, 8, 12 association with Shukra. Else that nakshatra lord should not be debilitated. Similarly, for Mangala, in bracket, you put as for a female horoscope. Now, what I want all of you to do is cast another example horoscope. These are the things that you need to look out for, because these are the combinations, these are the associations which actually go about and give the condition for problems pertaining to marriage. Difficulty in one's married life, difficulty to the point of separation, or difficulty to the point of getting married itself. So this is where care and attention is required. Of course, you have the Dasavida Purtam in the southern part of India. You have the Ashtakut in the northern part of India. That is important. That is important as the first step. But this is important, right? That is something that you do in order to go about and do as a first step. It is like, you know what? There are certain formalities that you commit to in life. So that is one formality. But what is hidden is within the horoscope here. So the moment you actually go through the 7 Bhava classes, and parallelly for those of who have gone through the marriage matching masterclass. Now you combine both of them and you would be able to beautifully go about and combine horoscopes for marriage. Now, you can cast a horoscope. Before that, I would like to also give you the birth details. 29th of November, 1974. Time is going to be 11:40 a.m. Place is Madurai. Yeah. So what is his age? 49 years, 1 month approximately. So what is the Lagna? Kumbha Lagna, right? In Lagna, there's a Guru, right? Now we are taking a horoscope of a person who's separated, right? It's a male horoscope, by the way. Okay. Guru in the Lagna. All right. Kumbha Lagna. Next, what you're going to do is Moon Ketu in Rishabha, in the 4th Bhava. Okay. Shani, Navakaragathi in the 5th Bhava, Mithuna Shani. Mars Mangala in the Ashtama Bhava in Kanya. Okay. Now in Vrishchika Rashi, you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 Grahas. I'm telling this to you in advance so that you can fill in the box carefully. Little by little, you can fill in the box. So in Vrishchika Rashi, there is Mercury, Sun, Rahu, Shukra. Right? Mercury, Sun, Rahu, and Shukra in Vrishchika in the 10th Bhava. You have Mandi in Dhanusha Rashi. So with this, the horoscope is clear. Now what you're going to do is Sun is in 13 degrees in this horoscope. So if Sun is in 13 degrees, which nakshatra would he be in? He would be in the nakshatra of Anuradha. Who's the nakshatra adhipati here? Shanishwaran, Shani Bhagavan. Right? Okay. So Sun in the nakshatra of Shani. Let me repeat the rule now again for you quickly. Now you'd be able to understand. The nakshatra adhipati of the 7th bhava adhipati should not be in 3, 6, 8, 12 association to the 7th bhava adhipati. So who's the 7th bhava adhipati as far as the horoscope is concerned? For Kumbha Lagna, the 7th bhava adhipati is Sun. Sun in the nakshatra of Shani. So that becomes the nakshatra adhipati. So from the 7th bhava adhipati, Sun, Shani is in the Ashtama sthana. So this person is separated. This is a beautiful, easy way to actually go about and come into a point blank assessment on how this marriage is going to be, how this married life is going to be. Immediately you can come to a conclusion that no, there is a problem pertaining to this person's marriage. There is a problem pertaining to Kalatra itself, right? Again, remember you use the word association here. That is extremely important. So it does not necessarily have to be directly in the 8th. Even if there is an 8th association, 12th association, which means a graha, then also it creates problems, right? So when the 7th bhava adhipati in the nakshatra in which he is, the nakshatra adhipati is the 3rd bhava lord. Clear all of you? Anybody else has any doubts? Write this down and post that you all can take a dinner break. When Ketu is in Lagna and the Lagna Lord is in 1, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12. If it is like that, write down it will give a delayed marriage.
Sir, numbers you repeat, sir, once again.
When
1579.
Ketu is in Lagna and the Lagna Lord is in 1579. So you have taken the trines and the Saptamasthana. It is easy to remember, right? Apart from that, you are also taking the 10th Bhava and the 12th Bhava. 10th is what? Where the Lagna Lord gets exalted. 12th is what? The Tambadhyasthana. That's all. Easy to remember. If it is there, the Lagna Lord is there, then write down delayed marriage or after marriage, there will be separation or they will be living in the house as what? Household sannyasi. Household sannyasi. What is household sannyasi? Both of us are married, but he is in one room, I am in one room. I won't speak to him, he won't speak to me. Like that. Right? They will be in the same house, but they won't be talking to each other. Or for a few of them, they will get married between 35 to 40 years when sun enters Mesha. Write down Chitrai, Chaitra. Or when sun enters Simha. Write down Avani or Shravana. Or when sun enters Tulam. Basically, what I'm doing here, 1, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, no, I'm converting that into months. That's all. Right? When sun enters Tulam, Aipasi or Ashwina. When sun enters Dhanusha, Margasirisha or Margari. Exclude what? Falguna. Not Falguna. Not the month of Panguni. Why not the month of Panguni? In practice, the thing of, you know what? This combination or this condition where this person gets married during Panguni is not found that much. So, simple rule, when in Lagna there is Ketu, which obviously qualifies for what? Nagadosha. And the Lagna Lord is in 1, 5, 7, 9, 10 or 12. Then one, it indicates delayed marriage, or even if they are married, they will be separated. Or if they are not separated, what? They will be living a separated life inside the house, right? Household brahmachari they'll be. They are married, but they are living as brahmachari. Right? Or for a few of them, 35 to 40 years, they will get married when sun enters Mesha, when sun enters Simha, or when sun enters Tulam, or when sun enters Dhanusha. And also you also need to add what? When sun enters Makara, which is what? The month of Tai or Pushya or Pausha. Tap, you will get. One person will say, Lagna in Ketu, right? Lagna Lord in the 5th. I got married during the month of Avani. This was the way it is. Immediately you can also ask. So if you got married early, did you have some differences of opinion with your wife, or did you live apart from your wife? If he says, I was in a foreign land, I was working abroad, I was away from my wife, then it is good. If somebody is in the police force, if somebody is in the military force, where, there is prolonged separation from the partner or frequent separation from the partner, good, you should encourage them. Because what it does is the love that two people need to have in marriage, the closeness, the unity, it spoils that, right? You exclude the month of Panguni or Falguna. Why? Because it is not seen in that case. So such people, if they come to you and they ask you that, what, should I pursue something to do with a delayed marriage? If possible, you should tell them a yes. For girls, you cannot tell them wait till 35 years, 36 years. So then what you should tell them, if it is a marriage, it will happen during this month. And if it is a partner who is a little away from you, he's working abroad, you're working somewhere, you're working night shifts, or he's working night shifts, you can proceed with that. These are simple rules, right? But what this condition does is write down in job, in occupation, it gives them fame. Whatever occupation they will be in some form of a top level or the other. So somebody is coming to you, okay, and they're telling, even though I told few, you should use it, no? You should use it properly. And somebody is telling, I'm 39 years old, I have Ketu in Lagna, and my Lagna Lord is in the ninth. What should you tell them? By next year, you'll get married. Right? That means what? The bus has reached Tambaram. It is yet to enter Chennai. Tambaram is what? 39 years? No, by 40 years, you'll get married. Simple, easy, golden diamond rule in order to just come to a bang on conclusion. This will happen. This is how it will be. Right? So these are the rules that I wanted to share. And now you can cast a horoscope and write down Sun in the 7th Bhava. All of you cast an example horoscope. So the previous, what we discussed, what you need to do is, we should not eat up the time. The rules that we discussed previously, you should apply it arduously in the horoscopes, right? So now let's get into Sun. Surya Bhagwan in the 7th Bhava cast a horoscope, an example horoscope as per the Kala Purusha, because we're going to predict as per the Kala Purusha for any student who's just joined in now, irrespective of where Sun is, irrespective of your Lagna, as long as Sun is in the 7th Bhava, we're going to go with the predictions as per the Kala Purusha Kundli. So you should, the key here is you should always have the Kala Purusha Kundli in mind. This is one thing that I told you. But the most important thing here is you have the Kala Purusha, which is working in background, which is the basic chassis or the chassis of your horoscope. But we should not forget the fact that a Graha has its own characteristic. A Bhava has its own characteristic. So there is a Sangama, there is a association, there is a condition which is formed where a Graha with its Karakatvam is in a Bhava which signifies a Karakatvam. This is extremely important that you need to understand, right? And this is very important here. Why? Because I'm reiterating this again, because you all should start thinking. Right? See, this is a knowledge-based subject. You have your own share of experience. So knowledge varies from a person to person based on one's experience. So as per your sights in life, as per your what you see in life, what is your assessment of life? That is also knowledge. That is true knowledge. So you should sit down, you should contemplate, you should be alone. In Tamil, they say, Tanittiru Tavittiru, which means what? Be alone and contemplate. Alone means not loneliness. No. Be alone and contemplate. What does it mean? And you would get some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful answers, right? See, the moment you understand a fundamental or you understand a cardinal rule, that is what the advanced class, whichever I'm explaining to you, you just need to grasp that cardinal or that fundamental concept. With that, how do I navigate? With that, what I should do? This should be the core takeaway from whatever I'm teaching. Okay. So let me just connect the iPad. Okay. First, listen carefully. Listen carefully to me here, and I would tell you to write. Okay. See. Now you need to keep this in mind. You just need to create this framework first. With that only you predict, right? It's not about mugging up concepts. You also need to come up with additional points, because from here on, the points would be minimized because you need to frame your own points. But of course, I'm giving you the cardinal, the fundamental principle. See, Kalatra is indicated by the 7th Bhava. The 7th Bhava also indicates my partner. The 7th Bhava also indicates what? Out of town, foreign land, foreign travel, anything which is away from me, right? So the moment I travel from a state to state, a district to district, or to a foreign country, the 7th. That is also indicated by 7th. It indicates my partner. It indicates my kalatra. Right? All of this is indicated by the 7th bhava, in which who is sitting, in which who is placed, Surya Bhagavan is placed. So with this, now I should start imagining. So instead of sun, if moon is placed, again, what does moon indicate? This moon, which indicates all of that, is in the 7th, which indicates all that I told you. This is what is astrology, respected sir. This is what is astrology, respected ma'am. Right? So 5 points I give you, that is more than sufficient. You should leave some gap. Right? You yourself should be able to contemplate. You should be able to think. And as you keep thinking, whatever you get, okay, it is not whether it's right or wrong. That's irrelevant. It's right or wrong, you should not get into all of that. You should write. Because you know what? That is your opinion. Right? That is your comment. That is your dictum. That is your viewpoint. Right? You should write that. It is absolutely not wrong. Remember I told, even if it does not work for 4 people, don't reject that. Because you've understood the cardinal principle. So it means what? It is waiting for the right time. It will definitely be something which would be applicable, if not for 4, then for 40 people. That is how it is, right? The moment you come into this conclusion that, you know what, this rule is not working, right? Whatever this teacher has told is not working. Whatever this person who wrote this book, he told it is not working, right? Astrology itself is not working. No, don't do that. Never ever do that in life, right? Because if you do that, you would go towards a downward spiral. That's it. Nobody can pick you up from there, right? Now, in the 7th, sun is there, right? Now, you also need to understand this important rule here. If a graha is in the 7th bhava, it's obvious, it's understood. He's going to also aspect the lagna. Am I correct? So, does it also not mean that whatever points I'm giving you, if it applies for my wife, good. If it does not apply for my wife, which means if it does not come for my wife, it can also come for me. Why? Because it is aspecting the lagna, right? So this is also one important point, which means you should also know the art of mingling for both of them. So you start by for your kalatra. If somebody says, no, it's not, my wife is not like that. No, she didn't. Then it is you. Why? Because it is aspecting the lagna. This is also something that you need to keep in mind. Write down point number 1. The kalatra will be bright. Face will be bright. Right? Prakasha. Number 2. The kalatra will be authoritative. How will she be? Authoritative. Number 3. The kalatra will have administrative qualities. Kalatra means what? Wife for a purusha. For a stri, what? Husband. Number 4. Will be connected with government or politics. Why? Because sun is there, right? Sun is in the 7th bhava. Number 5. This will also be applicable for the Jataka. Why? Because he's aspecting the Lagna. Next. This is how you need to mingle, right? Which means the Kalatra, there will be somebody, either the Kalatra or in a family, there will be association with government and politics. Or in your family itself, whoever has sun in the 7th bhava, somebody will be connected with government or politics. Number 6. Their marriage will take place during the month of Chaitra, Aipasi. Chaitra is Chitra month. Aipasi, Avani, Aipasi, Masi. What are the months here? When sun moves into Mesha, Chaitra. When sun moves into Simha, right? When sun moves into Tulam, when sun moves into Masi, which is Kumbha. These are the months when marriage will take place. Right? Next. What is the logic behind it? You just need to understand the logic here. The logic here is very, very simple. We are talking about the exaltation of sun, the debilitation of sun, where sun is in his own sign. And obviously from Kumbha, sun will aspect what? Simharashi. This is the rule here. Right? Next, number 7. After marriage, they will pursue. They means who? We are referring to what? The Kalatra will pursue higher education. After marriage, the Kalatra will pursue education. What type of education will it be? It will be a higher education. Why? Because the 5th Lord is in the 7th. All of you, can you see my screen here? All of you, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the 5th Lord is in the 7th. So the 5th, which indicates what? Higher education is in the 7th. If not, what will they pursue? They will pursue an education pertaining to Shastra, right? Pertaining to medicine, or it will be a higher education. This is what they will pursue. Number 8. The Kalatra, whoever they get married to, right? This is very rare, okay? You can just put it in bracket. This is rare. The Kalatra will be a twin, which also means for a few people, the Kalatra can also be a twin, or the wife who comes will be a twin. Right? Irrespective of that, even if they don't get married to a twin, you cannot say, remember I told you it's a rare that somebody will get married to a twin who has sun in the 7th bhava. Even though they don't get married to a twin, somewhere this talk of twin will definitely be there when they cross marriage. Which means they're searching for an alliance. Suddenly, a twin's horoscope came for alliance. This is one. Else, what will happen? Either in the Jataka's family, what? There will be a twin, or they will be a twin. This is the way it will be. Right? Here or there. Remember, I told you that also. Next. Number 9. Will pursue higher education out of one's town. Who will pursue higher education out of one's town? The Jataka, the 5th in the 7th. Number 10. The child will be out of town or will go for education out of town. The child will be out of town or will pursue education out of town. Right? This will be there. Next, number 11. Their customers. What is happening? The 7th also indicates your customers, and that is where sun is placed. So there they will have good customers. Number 16. Their customers will be in high status. They will be in high status. Quality customers they will get. Right? Number 9. The native will be helpful. He will have a helping tendency. He will be helpful in nature. See, sun in the 7th bhava. With this, we are coming up with so many predictions pertaining to what? Sun in the 7th, which indicates my customers. Sun in the 7th, which indicates my wife. Sun in the 7th, which indicates what? Me. Why? Because it is aspecting the lagna. All of this is indicated by what? Just sun in the 7th. Why? Because the sun, he has its own independent traits. And what is he doing here? He is going to dominate that bhava. Now you need to give some gap because you also need to write, you also need to fill in points. Okay. Now, what is the logic behind twins here? The first child is indicated by the 5th bhava. Am I correct? The second child is indicated by the 7th bhava, which, by the way, the 7th also happens to be the Kalatrasthana. So the 5th, which indicates the first child, and the 7th, which indicates the second child, is in what the 7th, which indicates the Kalatra. So the possibility of a twin coming as a wife or coming as a husband is there. This is how you should tell. Even if it is not there, remember I told you it is a rarity. You should ask this question. While looking out for alliances, did you get a twins horoscope? The answer will be a yes. Let us say though, don't get married to a twin, right? A rule is obviously a rule, which means somewhere in the near future, either their child will be a twin, or even if that does not come, somewhere in the next to next future, their sambandhi, which means what, their child will get married to a twin. This is how it is, right? So at least you know what will happen when the first child, when they are pregnant, right? Or when the wife is pregnant, there will be a talk while they're taking the scan. You know, the scan shows like there can be a twin child. This will be there, which means at least the talk has to come, right? This is how it is. So you should always treat a rule like that. Number 13. Number 13, which also means you can write the sambandhi, right? That they get. Which means what? The sambandhi means what? Their child, they are looking out for alliances. So when they are looking out for alliances, not sambandhi, for their child, there's a possibility for them to get a twin. If not here, there. Somewhere a rule has to play its part, right? Okay. You will have so many examples. A person, sun in the 7th bhava, right? And this sun in the 7th bhava is in the husband's horoscope, right? The husband is not a twin. She is also not a twin, but she gave birth to twins, right? So you should know this, and then you would be able to go about and predict. The reason I'm telling this is, even though this is not regular, it is a rarity. It is always wonderful to come up with some amazing points rather than to just go with the regular points. So from time to time, you should also try this, right? Next, remember sun in the 7th. Customers, high quality customers, good customers. Remember, it's very, very important to have good customers. Half of the problem that people face, big businesses or even small businesses face today is what? Not getting the right kind of customers. You find big shops, cloth shops, jewelry shops, right? You may have the best of stuff, but why are they going on advertising on the TV, the social media? Because they want good customers. So getting customers is extremely important. They will do all the marketing exercises possible to get customers. But here in this case, when sun is in the 7th bhava, all of this is not required. Customers, especially high quality customers, will come seeking them. So why is it? Remember, the 7th bhava is the 10th from the 10th bhava. It is the jivana of the jivanasthana. See how important it is, my respected students. It is the jivana. It is the jivana of the jivanasthana itself. So you can start a business, but at the end of the day, you need to feed that business. That business needs to grow, right? So immediately, the jivana of the jivanasthana is the 7th. So automatically, it is extremely important. So likewise, if you think, you will get so many things. And you should link one with the other. See, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to a house and you see the Ishanya of the house, not good. I'm just talking about experiences here, right? The Ishanya of the house is afflicted. Okay, first one, tick mark. This is the reason I tell you should know Vastu. You should know numerology, right? Immediately, you will be able to link one with the other. Okay, you've entered the house. The moment you enter the house, Ishanya is weak. Then as you enter the house in the corridor, in the veranda, you see 4-5 chairs broken. Again, that should also come into your mind because everything is trying to convey something to you. Everything in a subtle form. If you look at something lightly, it is light. If you look at something as, something which is of very little significance, yes, it is insignificant indeed. But if you pay attention to everything around you, everything has a significance and everything is trying to tell you something. So Ishanya has a problem, chair is broken. Then you open a horoscope and you see, immediately when you see, let's say it is a male horoscope and you see a Guru Shani combination, you can link all of this and tell, did you invest in shares recently and did you have a problem? The answer what? Will be a yes. Why? Because the Ishanya is afflicted, one cross mark. Chair is broken. Chair sounds like share. Guru, Dhanakaraka is associated with Shani. Immediately your mind should go to what? Linking. This is connected with this. You can ask this question and many a times the answer will be bang on. This is how you predict, which means this is nimitta, this is saguna. This is something that you get only when you keep your mind, attention, heart, soul, everything to what you're studying, that is Jyotisha. And you should just keep your attention there. Similarly, keeping that in mind, I will give you a simple remedy and you can all use it. Write down. In your house, see, in between, I will give you things also, tips. You can write it down. In your house, if the table fan is not working in your house, if the table fan is not working, that means in your house, somebody is having what problem? Neck problem. Try it. Ask the next time, right? And the answer will be a yes. Yes, sir, I'm having neck problem. Somebody in my house is having a neck problem. What is the solution? The solution is what? Repair the table fan, make it work properly, and your neck problem will go. Or whoever has the neck problem, it will go. Right? There will be one knob. You just adjust that knob properly or get that knob repaired. Like a small bun that you have on the ladies tie the bun, right? You can go to this precision also and tell, is it a lady who is having a problem as far as something to do with, the neck is concerned? Many a times that also works out, right? Repair the table fan, the neck problem would be sorted out. That's it, simple. Or is it an elderly person who's having a problem? The problem would be sorted out. Even if you go to the doctor, for specific problems, they give you specific solution. Neck problem, they would give you neck exercises. That is how it is, right? Which means, what I'm trying to tell you here is, you just need to keep your eyes and ears open. Everything around you is trying to actually go about and convey something to you. Don't treat anything around you lightly. Everything is trying to communicate in a language that you involve yourself in. And what I want students to do here is involve in the language of Jyotisha Shastra. Let's say in your house, the toilet door is broken. Or forget the toilet door broken. Somebody is always keeping the toilet door open. Now, what does it mean? That means there is some mistake that is being committed in the house, which will be out in public. Simple. Which means what? Toilet, the 7th Bhava, something which is hidden, something which is a secret within the house, within the family, is going to come out. So somebody would be there. Somebody would have given some money to somebody, taken money from somebody. That matter would be leaked out. Or for a long time, somebody would be doing oof oof. What is oof oof? Right? A cigarette. For a long time, 5-6 years, wife won't catch. Suddenly he would get caught. Or a son. He will be what? Smoking cigarettes. Suddenly he would get caught. Right? So each of the things would keep going about and conveying one thing to you. If you treat it insignificantly, it is insignificant. Because the way you treat something, that is the way it treats you. If you give it respect, it will give you answers. And everything around you is there. You just need to what? Bow down to it and respect it, and you will get it. Okay, sir, let's get back to Sun in the 7th. You've given all good points for Sun in the 7th. But see, Sun is in the 7th, right? That is where he's supposed to be getting debilitated. So are you telling me that, you know what, irrespective of the fact that Sun is in the 7th, where in actuality, that is where he gets into a debilitation, I should be telling all of this? Yes. The later part is Sun indeed debilitated? That is one. Two, is Sun afflicted in some form or the other, which means what? Is there an involvement of a Badaka, Titishunya, Ashubha Graha? Right? Then you should actually go about and modify the predictions. That we would do later on. That is what I would take you through in the advanced sessions or the practice sessions also. I will give you a glimpse. But write down number 13. Since keeping this point in mind that Sun is in the 7th, where as per the Kalapurusha he gets debilitated, the children will pursue love marriages. Love marriage. Number 14. In general, Sun in the 7th Bhava is not considered good or great for marriage. So married life, you cannot actually expect too much out of their married life. Sun in the 7th Bhava, number 15, however, is very good for social service, which means public service, public relations, right? They will know who this person is, right? So that is good as far as something to do with Sun in the 7th Bhava is concerned. Apart from that, the Graha, which is aspecting, how it is, all of that has an important role to play. See, you will find this as a contrast at times, okay? You will see Sun in the 7th Bhava and you'll be predicting wife is authoritative, wife will be a person who will have administrative qualities. And the other person will be saying, sir, no, sir, whatever you're telling is not correct. Where is my wife authoritative? She does not have any administrative qualities. Halt. It is not that the rule is wrong. It is just that now your eye should go somewhere. Sun in the 7th, so as per the Kalapurusha, he gets debilitated. So already a problem is there. But Sun has to show its dominance in the 7th. So she should be dominant. She should be authoritative. Now, even in spite of that, if he's telling no, that means now where my eye should go, is he indeed getting into a debilitation? Because as it is, he's going to behave like a Nicha Graha. Or is he associated with an Ashubha Graha? Is he along with an Ashubha Graha? Is he getting into a Shunya? Is he associated with the Badaka? Right? Is he associated with a combust Graha? Is he with Mandi? All of this is where your eye should go to. If your eyes goes in that angle, or if your mind goes in that angle, yes, congratulations. You are on the way to become a stunning astrologer, a big astrologer. If you're into the zone of telling, you know what, no, none of this is working. What I learned and what is coming is not correct. Then you're not going anywhere, right? This is how it is. So yes, Sun in the 7th Bhava generally qualifies for what? It will show the qualities of a debilitated Sun. But nonetheless, Sun, which has its Karakatwas, the 7th, which has its Karakatwas, the Sangama of both of them has to give a set of prediction. Whenever we talk about a debilitation here, remember, immediately when you see Sun in the 7th, where he acts as debilitation, your hit should be on what the Karakatwas significant of the Sun. So, let us say Sun debilitated. The relationship with the father, that will be spoiled. The relationship with the male progeny, that will be spoiled. Right? Then after that, you take the body part, your back, that will have a problem. This is how you should proceed with Nicha Grahas. And this is something that I've been telling you on and off. Right? So, when a Graha gets into a debilitation, what it does is, it actually plays a spoil spot with the relationship involved, the relation involved, the relation that it signifies, right? Here in this case, immediately it also indicates what? It also indicates something to do with what? The part of the body involved. Relationship, again, not just fathers, a son also. The first child or the male progeny is associated with sun. So this is the way it is. But when it comes to, you know what, when it comes to the fame that somebody needs, when it comes to the yoga that somebody needs, in most of the cases, 99% of the cases, a Nietzsche does not go about and play a spoil sport with that. You will find that in so many horoscopes. You will find horoscopes with multiple Nietzsche grahas, and they would be living a good life. But yes, the Nietzsche has to play its part. Mars debilitated. That means what? Something to do with Sahodara. Something to do with what? Your younger sibling. He's a nuisance. He's of no use to you, or there's some problem associated with him. Shani debilitated. Your chittappa, or what is it? Your uncle, right? Again, Shukara debilitated. You will be living away from your wife for a long duration of time. The relationship with your aunt or your attai, that won't be there. You know, it would be null, or you may not have a attai at all. That is the way it is, right? Okay. Now, there's another beautiful thing that I also want you to understand here. See, you have the fifth lord in the seventh. So, can we say the Kalatra? Why? Because the seventh is what? The Kalatra. The fifth is what? The first child. So, can we say the Kalatra will be the first child or the eldest child? Yes, but there is a sub rule to it. With it, you can actually go about and predict so many things beautifully, right? See here, here you have sun in the seventh bhava. So it's obvious you're considering the fifth lord is in the seventh, correct? But only when it is associated with the lagna lord, not lagna. It is associated with lagna. Here, when it is associated with the lagna lord, then you can say the kalatra that will come to this person will be the eldest child in the family. Likewise, you can actually use it for so many different purposes, but for that, you would have to understand a rule. And what is this rule here? Whenever you're considering what? The relationship, whether somebody is elder, younger, is he the second child, is he the eldest child, or is he the younger child? Here, you should also consider that by keeping into consideration the bhava involved. How do we do that? Look into this here. The fifth bhava, pay close attention here, indicates the first child, right? So, what do you call the firstborn? You call the firstborn as what? The eldest child, the elder child. So, which is the bhava which indicates the elder in general? 11th, right? So, here, write down, when the fifth bhavadipati and the 11th bhavadipati is related, then you can tell it is the eldest child. There is something pertaining to the eldest child. There's just a simple way in order to go about and use it for varied purposes. So let's say the fifth bhavadipati and the 11th bhavadipati are together, conjoined together. Then you can say, are you the eldest in the family? Right? This is the way you apply the rule. Okay, next. Which is the bhava which signifies the second child? It is the 7th bhava. What do you call the second child? Obviously, you would say, he's my second child, right? So, when the 7th bhavadipati and the second bhavadipati are connected, then what? It is the second child. All of you, are you writing down? Yes? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Next.
Yes, sir.
When the third bhavadipati, sorry. What is the third child? 7th is the second child. The third child is what? The 9th bhava. When the 9th bhavadipati and the third bhavadipati are connected, it is the third child. Are you the third born in the family? Next. Again, we have to go back. The bhava for what? The fourth child would be the 11th bhava. So when the 4th Bhavadipati and the 11th Bhavadipati are connected, it would be the 4th child. This is the way you can actually go about and link, right? So after that, you can go to the horoscope and link. In a horoscope, let us say in a horoscope, the 11th Bhava Lord and the 4th Bhava Lord are getting into a Bala. So are you the 4th child? Let us say in the horoscope, the 11th Bhava Lord and the 5th Bhava Lord are getting into the Bala. Then you can say, are you the eldest child in the family? This is the way you should predict. Now you may ask this question, sir, nowadays there is only one child or two child maximum. Why are you going to 4, 5? Remember, everything functions in a cycle. Today, somebody may say we only stick with one child. Tomorrow, somebody would say 2 children. Then it's a cycle, which means someday or the other, there would again be a time when they would start having 3 children, 4 children. Else, when you want to predict for somebody who was born before you, your father, your grandfather, as of now, you can use, but still, life is a cycle, time is a cycle. What came has to come again. It has to repeat itself. The way it is like this. So you always need to understand, astrology always does not give you one path, one route. You should know when to actually go about and alternate, right? So this is for sun in the 7th bhava. Put moon in 7th bhava. See, 4 points are more than enough. As you go little by little only, you should add more and more points, because when you study astrology little by little, that is when you become a good astrologer. Immediately, if you go to the top, you will leave astrology. You will just tumble and fall down, right? It is like this Humpty Dumpty story, because immediately if you go to the top, because many a times you see almost 90% of people who learn astrology, they will learn astrology with all interest, but suddenly they will disappear somewhere. Why? Because immediately they got to the top. That is not the way you go to astrology. Little by little, you should munch, chew, little by little, and slowly and steadily, you'll be on top. Straight away, if you go to top, dup, you will fall down. So you should be careful, right? Okay. Now, moon is in the 7th bhava. Moon, which signifies my mother. Moon, which signifies all the qualities. Now you're putting it to the 7th bhava, and you know what the 7th bhava signifies. Write down point number 1. The kalatra will be from the mother's side. The kalatra will be from the mother's side. 7, kalatra, moon, mother. Number 2. The marriage will be decided by the mother. You should only marry this girl. You should only marry this boy. Why you should marry this boy? I've already tick mark him. He is only my son-in-law. They would have already made the decision, right? Which means the force will come from the mother for marriage, who they should marry. Number 3. The kalatra will be affectionate towards her mother, her, his, whoever it is. See, one person, moon is in the 7th bhava. Okay. So his wife, right? Early morning, from early morning, afternoon, night. This is the same story here. What am I going to cook today? Immediately she will call her mummy. This mummy is, how many kilometers away? 120 kilometers away. She will call her mummy and tell, today I don't know what to cook, Amma. You tell me what to cook. This is the story every day. Which means what? This closeness with the mother will be there. Who will have that closeness? Kalatra. The kalatra will be affectionate towards the mother. The kalatra will listen to what the mother tells. Number 4. The kalatra will be beautiful. Number 5. After marriage, there will be change of profession, career, or there will be change of place. Right? Anyone, either they will change from one place to one place, one city to one city, or they will change their career, change their profession. This will be there, right? Okay. Next, number 4. There will be people connected with teaching or nursing or media or transport in this family. Which family? Both the Kalatras family and the Jatakas family. Number 8. Will have property out of one's town. Will have property out of one's town. Number 9. Their friends, their partners will keep changing. Right? Why? Because moon is what? Waning. Moon is not steady. Tuck, 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 it keeps changing. Right? Sir, my friendship is not consistent, sir. This will be what they would tell. Sir, I'm getting good customers. The speed in which they are coming, suddenly they are disappearing. I don't know what. This will be what? The concern. Number 10. They will have customers out of their town, out of their city, in foreign places. Number 11. Many people get married while they are studying. In bracket, put as degree. Number 12. They will get married during a rainy season. Even if it is not a rainy season, at least when they are getting married, there will be one small rain. Right. Next. So you just see moon in the 7th bhava. 100% after marriage, there will be a change. One change pertaining to what? Either changing from one place to another place, or changing their job, changing their career. This will be there. Right. The amsa, you need to understand the amsa associated. Amsa means what? The characteristic again. Associated with the graha has to play its part or contribution to the bhava. If ashubha grahas are associated, even one ashubha graha is enough. Number 13. During marriage, there will be a karmakarya, which means when they are getting married, there will also be a death in the family. Right? Number 13. When ashubha graha is associated. Next, regular points. In the Kalatra's hometown, native town, or the place from where the Kalatra hails, right? She or he will have property, right? Or the property will be registered on the Kalatra's name, which means either what? In the wife's hometown, wife's place, they will buy property, or they will have property, right? Else, you know what will happen? They will register the property on the wife's name. That's all. That's all. Tup. Points that you give is what matters. Right? So you have the partners, you have friends, you have wife or the spouse, the Jataka also, 7th, and moon is associated. Immediately, you should be able to come up with these points. And after that, you should advance to the next. Right? Why did I tell during a rainy season there would be a marriage? Because moon is a Jalagraha. So at least a rainy season, if not, you know what? When the thing of marriage happens, one light rain will be there. Why did I tell when they would be studying, they would get married? Moon, 4th bhava lord, which indicates your degree after your +2. Right? So during that degree, many of them get married. Next. In the Kalatras town, there will be a river, a canal, a water body, like a pond. Right? One person told, exactly in my wife's hometown, her house is just on the river bank. Right? Okay. Next. the Jataka will have a lot of travel. Why the Jataka will have a lot of travel? Lagna is there. The seventh is what? Far away from the Lagna, right? And you have a Jalagraha, moon, which is not steady also, by the way, who keeps moving. And he is aspecting the Lagna, by the way, who is what? A movable sign. Right? This is how it is. So with this, we have moon in the 7th bhava. Anybody has any question? Anybody? Any question?
I have one question.
Yes. I'm again and again repeating, my respected students. Studying without knowing the logic is harmful. Is harmful. Each and every line that I'm uttering, you should ask me why. Then only it will register in your mind. Just a minute. Let me just fill some water and come. Meanwhile, you think. For each and every line you have written, you should know the logic. If you don't know the logic, that means you're mugging up. You should not mug up. I'm here to answer all your questions. Just a minute. Go ahead, all of you. All of you. From sun in the 7th bhava to moon in the 7th bhava. Any doubts you ask me? Check through each and every point.
Sir,
So
excuse
first
me,
we'll
sir.
start with the PX 1229. Go ahead.
Sir, the point where you said during marriage there will be death in the family.
Ma'am, very good, very good, very good. Very good, very good. All of you cast a horoscope?
Also this, right.
All of you cast a horoscope? Like this only you should ask questions. And you can also share your attestations. Sir, I have sun in the 7th bhava. I have moon in the 7th bhava. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. What do we have? Right? 7th bhava. Right. So, the 7th bhava is what? Tula. Am I correct? For Tulam, which is the Karmasthana? For Tulam, which is the
fourth house.
Karmasthana here? It is the 4th bhava.
Fourth house.
So the 4th lord, who is the Karmasthana from Tulam, is in Tulam itself. How is it? How is the point?
Mm.
Right?
Yes.
So if Ashubha Grahas are associated, you know what will happen? During the time of marriage, there will be a Karmakarya. Else, write down point number 17. The Kalatra, if Ashubha Graha is associated, will be adopted, will be separated from her mother. Her is whoever you want. Right? If it does not come for the Kalatra, then you should tell, then the Jataka, for the Jataka, somebody in the Jataka's family will die, or during marriage, or what will happen? Jataka will be adopted, will be away from the mother. That's all. Right? This is how it is. Immediately you will get the answer. Right? All right. How is it? PX 1240.
So for death, can you repeat?
Ma'am, you see the screen? Are you able to see the screen, ma'am? Are you able to see the screen here?
Yes, right.
Tulam, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
Moon
for
is in
death
Tulam. Am I
10.
correct?
Yes.
Which is the 10th from Tulam, ma'am?
It's the 4th.
Ma'am, 10th from Tulam. It is the 4th, right? So the 4th Bhava Lord is in the 7th row, ma'am. So when it is afflicted by a Ashubha Graha, there'll be a death and marriage taking place at the same time. One side, what they will be doing, marriage will be happening. Two people will be exchanging garlands with each other. This will also happen. Then they'll be saying, Tata, poitiye Tata. Tata means what? Grandfather. Dear grandfather, you died. They will all weep, sob. Again, after 5 minutes, they will take the gifts from all the people who have come for wedding. This will happen in many cases. This is there. Where? When Ashubha Graha is associated. Clear, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am? So this side, they'll be crying. That side, they will be exchanging gifts. Again, after 5 minutes, they will write. After for people who gave gifts, you have to write, no? Moipanam. Moipanam is that money that people give, no, in the envelope. They'll put it in the envelope. So they will have to take, no, a list of that. Then after that, for 5 minutes, they will cry. This will go on. So this is how it is. So if moon is in the 7th bhava, we are telling mother will, from mother's side, mother's relation, there will be a marriage. So if sun is in the 7th bhava, now you should think whose side marriage will come from? Anybody? It will be fathers. Like
Father.
that's the reason
Father.
I told you.
Father.
Keep 4, 5, 1 or 2 pages at least so that you should be able to fill in your own points, right? That is how it is, right? And the points that you write, that will give you a hand that you can actually lean on many times in the future, because all of you have to become teachers, no? How long you will call me Guruji? You also have to become Gurujis, no? So for that, it should help you, right? So the thing about adoption here is the 10th indicates the karmasthana. Just a minute. Right? So for karma, what do you need? You need a child. See, in order to come into a conclusion, you can write that there is a child indeed. You should look into the 5th bhava, which is what? Child. So if I get a child, what happens? I get promotion, no? What promotion I get? I get promotion as a father. My wife will get a promotion as what? Mother. So to get a child, you look at the 5th bhava. Next what? 9th bhava. Why? Because I get promoted, no, as father. Then what? 10th bhava. Which means what? For the purpose of performing my karma, do I have a child? So whenever somebody asks you a question pertaining to childbirth, 5, 9, 10. Adoption, immediately you need to look into the 10th. Then of course, Shani Mercury, that I will teach you later on. But this is how it is. You should keep thinking. That is what I want you to do, right? So one person, moon in the 7th, when he was getting married, not his father-in-law's elder brother, he passed away. So that marriage was, you don't know whether it is marriage or whether, you know what, because everybody was crying during marriage. Here they are exchanging garland. There, what they are doing? There they are crying. Then again they will come. They will share some pleasantries. Again, they will attend that also. Like this, you will find in many cases. So you won't know whether people who have they come for a marriage function or a death ceremony? Like that it will be, right? So all this will be there. So just imagine, you're just taking the amsa, you're just taking the qualities of a graha and just linking it with the bhava. Where I connected nakshatra, nothing, not doing anything. Just 2 things you're connecting and beautiful predictions you are getting. Right? Again, moon indicates travel, moon indicates out of town, moon indicates what? All this which is getting into the 7th, which indicates your customers. So customers will keep changing. Customers will not be steady. Outside customers, out of town customers, all of that will be good for them. Right? So you're traveling 1 year with me, all of you. Tup, you should be able to predict. All of you, all these aggregate platforms for astrology that people run. My students should be what? Top performers there. Anybody, what? They have these departments, no? They will call, no? To assess. Give me one horoscope. From, I don't know, from 8th bhava till 7th bhava, tup, you should predict. They should be like, who's your teacher? You want to meet him. That is the thing I want. Nothing else I want. Okay. Months, when I'm referring to months, always try to stick with the solar month, which is like when I said marriage would happen during the months. People can also share, no, when their marriage happened. It will be ideally during this time. When sun enters Mesha Rashi, when sun enters Simha Rashi, when sun enters Tula Rashi, or when sun enters Kumbha Rashi. That's when marriage would have happened. Next, put Mars in the 7th house. Mars, Mangala in the 7th house. Okay, let's continue. Please cast a horoscope. Today, the session will be a little long. Why? Because one day session is long. The next day session can be shorter. Right? Okay. Put Mars, Mangala Bhagavan in the 7th bhava. Mars, Mangala Bhagavan in the 7th bhava. So for any student who's joining new, please do understand we are predicting as per the Kala Purusha. So for a person in the northern part of India, if he sees that, I'm just putting the Mesha as the Lagna, it does not necessarily mean, it's just for your understanding. Your Lagna can be any Lagna as long as Mars is in the 7th bhava. This is what the predictions are going to be, right? Okay. So you put Mars in the 7th bhava, and what you need to do is you need to tick mark the bhavas, the Rashi, obviously, where Mars would have its drishti. So if Mars is in the 7th, where would he aspect? He would aspect the 10th, right? He would aspect the Lagna. He would aspect the 2nd bhava, right? So he would aspect the 10th, he would aspect the Lagna, he would aspect the 2nd bhava, right? Now this is called as a Mangalik for people in the northern part of India. I think that is what it is addressed as. The right word to use is, they call it Kuja Dosha, right? In Tamil Nadu, in the southern part of India, they call it Sevva Dosha. Sevvai is another name for Mangala Bhagavan or Kuja. So it's called as a Kuja Dosha, right? So all those who have Mars in the 7th bhava, and we are also predicting for those who have Mars in Tula. Now, even before getting into it, right? A simple prediction for all those who have Mars in the 7th, Mars in Tulam, or for that matter, even if you had Shani in the 7th or Shani in the Tulam, right? You can immediately predict and tell that, what? You would end up buying the property next to yours, or you would end up buying the consequent properties or the subsequent properties, the nearby properties, the nearby plot. You'll be living somewhere, you will buy a property next to that place. Or you will be living somewhere, you will have that property and you will actually go and buy a property, and or you will tell some of your relative or some of your family member or at least a friend, you will make them buy a property close to yours, which means the close to close property will become yours for all those who have Shani in the 7th, Shani in Tulam. And here, since we are discussing Mars in the 7th, Mars in Tulam, yes, this will be the way it is. Right? Either you or your wife. This is how it would be. Why? Because the drishti is there, no? Right? So that will be there. Right? You, Lagna, 7th, something to do with the Kalatra. Wherever you're living, next to that place, you will buy one plot. Or if you go and buy a plot also, what you would do is, the next to next plot you will buy. 2 plots at the same time, close by, you will buy. Right? Or you will buy it for, or you'll make the relative, somebody close to you, buy that place. This is common for both Mars, Saturn. Right? Close by, right? This is how it is. What is the logic behind it? Shani, obviously. Why? Because he rules both the houses. He rules Makara, he rules Kumbha. What about Mars? Mars has both the subsequent drishti. First is the 7th. The next drishti is also his, which is the 8th. So immediately, the next to next property, close to close property, all of this will be there. And what will be there in them again? Let's say they're planning to sell their land. Even when they come to sell, even when they are getting into this selling mode also, they won't end up selling one property. They will sell both their properties together. So selling also will be together. Buying also will be together, side by side. So this you can share at a state once I allow you. As of now, no. As of now, let's get to the points. So here you have Mars in the 7th. And we have the drishtis associated with Mars in the 7th, right? So based on that, we are going to come up with points of prediction. Write down. Number 1. Both the Kalatra and the Jataka. Kalatra is the spouse, Jataka is you, right? Will be young. They will look young, right? They will be youthful in appearance. Number 2. Will be active. Who? The Kalatra. Number 3, will be short-tempered, hot-tempered, whichever way you want to write. Number 4, the Kalatra will have a younger sibling. Younger sibling. Why? Because in the 7th, which is the Karatrasthana, you have Mars, which is the Karaka Graha for Sahodara there. So definitely the Kalatra will have a younger sibling. Number 5. The Kalatra or the spouse will be attached to the younger sibling. Number 6. They will have a surgery. They will have a litigation. They will have an accident. In this 3, they have to meet one. Who? Both the husband and the wife. So it is for the Jataka, it is for the Kalatra. Right? Okay. Number 7. A religious family, Kalatra. A family related to government. Somebody will be working in the government in the family. A family that raised goats. Why? Because Mars, goat. Mesha, where he is aspecting goat. Number 8. In the Kalatra's family, there will be dangers owing to water, Ganda, or there will be a mentally afflicted person in the Kalatra's family. Anybody, Mars in the 7th, Mars in Tulam, close your eyes and predict this will come. Right? Okay. See, you need to understand the logic behind this here. Mars rules 2 houses. Am I correct? Mars rules 2 houses, which is Mesha, which is Vrishchaka. Right? Who gets debilitated in these 2 houses? In one house, Shani gets debilitated. In another house, Moon gets debilitated. Who gets into a strength here? Right? Sun gains strength where? In Mesha. And Mars is in his own sign in Vrishchaka and Mesha, obviously. So, the things pertaining to Sun and Mars, which means what? Somebody in the family will be in a government job, family of government servants, or people in government services. This is also there. Again, the predictions for what? Shani, Moon also has to come. Shani means what? Marana. Shani means what? Roha. Moon means what? Water. So there will be danger associated with water. There will be Marana associated with water. Or Moon also means what? Moon is the Mano Karakan. Shani is Vyadi. So somebody would be mentally afflicted in the spouse's family. Can you apply it to the person's family? Yes, obviously you can do that as well. Number 9. The Kalatra will have property. The property will be out of town. This is called as Kuja Dosha, which means number 10, in the marriage, there will be slight delays. And in the marriage, which means during the marriage itself, in the marriage and during the marriage, there will be fights, quarrels. Even when they're getting married, without problem, they cannot get married. There will be one quarrel. Some galata will be there in the marriage. Right? Sir, I have Vrishchaka Lagna, Mars in the 7th, right? Or I have a Rishabha Lagna, Mars in Vrishchaka, whatever it is, Mars in the 7th will do its work. Right? What now this Mars does or Mangala does is he's aspecting the Lagna, right? Then what is he doing? He's also aspecting the 2nd, right? So write down number 11. The Jataka will have bad habit. He will have one bad habit, or will have a problem pertaining to finance. Either of them. Either he will have a bad problem, or there would be a problem pertaining to what? Problem pertaining to finance. Right? Why? Because the Ashtama Drishti is in the second bhava. Second, which indicates what? One's habit. Second, which also indicates what? Something to do with finances. Number 7. The Jataka will be involved, or the native would be involved in public services and will take up leadership role in public services. What are the leadership roles, like being a president, counselor, something to do with, taking up certain social causes, public causes, and leading that. Next. Mars in the 7th, we just now told that it is a dosha pertaining to Mars. So in the husband's side, in the wife's side, there will be problems owing to property, bracket litigation. So on their side also, husband side also, there will be a problem pertaining to property. In the other person's side, the Jataka side also, there would be a problem pertaining to property. Okay. Now, next. I want you all to share once I ask you to share. And remember, for each and every line, you should know the logic. Without knowing the logic, don't write. Number 19. Mars is aspecting the 10th bhava. So the mother-in-law will also be religious. Number 20. The mother-in-law will also have a younger sibling. That's how it is. So just taking these points, you can actually go about and predict, and you would see how beautifully it works. And obviously, keeping this in mind, you should also frame your own points. So Mars in the 7th, immediately you should say, wife will be slightly argumentative. She will be short-tempered, hot-tempered. So you should know how to handle. You should be quiet. So how will the scene be in the house? Right? You should be quiet. Somebody has to be quiet. Why? Because if you say, no, what upbringing, your mother did not know how to bring you up, she will repeat and she will say, what upbringing? Upbringing. Look at your upbringing. Your father and mother did not know how to bring you up. So it will be an answer for an answer. Right? Your father is like that. Your father is also like that. Right? So somebody should bring down the volume. One person should bring down the volume. This is something that you should know. Right? Again, if Mars is in the 7th bhava, whichever graha is aspecting, based on that, you should actually go about and boost, decrease, or go about and meander, which means what? Mingle the prediction. Like let's say Mars is in the 7th. In the 2nd, Guru is there. So now what will you tell? Owing to what? Either you will have a bad habit, you will come out of it, or you will have a problem related to finance and you will be able to make up for it and you will come out of it. This is how it is, right? Or you know what? At times you will speak angrily. Why? Because Mars is aspecting the 2nd. After that, you know what will happen? You will change your tone. So something to do with, what? Anger will come and go, right? Mars is what? Youth. Mars in the 7th bhava. The spouse will also be youth. The structure of the body is decided by the Mangala Graha. So this is how it is. Now, Mars is in the 7th. Mars is aspecting the 7th. The Ashtama Drishti is on the 2nd. So can we say they will have a secret family? You should not immediately go and tell secret family. What you can tell is, you can tell they will hide their income. They won't know they won't tell who they are giving money to. They won't tell who they are taking money from. This way you can tell, and that will work out better, right? So they will hide their income somewhere. Next, number 3. They will have problems pertaining to their eyes, pertaining to their teeth, either of them. Number 24. This I've told, but again repeat. In social service, public service, they will take a position of leadership And they will also face problems also in that. Right? They will also face problems in that. All of this will be there. Again, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to married life, arguments, the vada pertaining to what? Speech, argument, fights, all of this will be there from time to time. This is the minus point of Mars in the 7th bhava. But apart from that, number 25, having a good structured body. Again, after marriage, getting property. Right? Again, buying the nearby property, as I told you. Again, many people who have Mars in the 7th bhava, they will have marriage amongst the relative circle or the blood, somebody in that relative or the family circle. Why? Because Mars indicates the blood. Again, why did I tell Mars is what? Something to do with religion. Remember, it is in the house of Mars that sun gets exalted. Everything that you use in the temple, most importantly, the act of showing the Deepa Aradhana, which means what? Showing the Deepa Aradhana itself is associated with Mars. Mars is the Mangala Graha. Deepa Aradhana is Mars. So Mars is profoundly important for spirituality and religion. Right? So this is how it is. Remember, I told you this rule. See, Mars is in the 7th bhava, and I told you in the Kalatras family, there would be a danger pertaining to water, and there would be a mentally afflicted person. Which means in whichever bhava Mars is in the horoscope, or wherever he aspects, there, like for example, Mars in the 4th bhava, immediately you should be able to predict in the mother's family, there would be a mentally disturbed person, or somebody would have died of a water danger. Tup, you should be able to predict. That's how it is. Again, Mars is also responsible for catering. Remember, you need fire to cook your food. So Mars is responsible for catering. So wherever Mars is, wherever Mars aspects, there will be one foodie, which means they will like food, or they will at least show interest in cooking food. This will be there. So now you're telling Mars is in the 7th. Many people have marriage amongst their relative circle, family. And you're also telling Kuja Dosha. See, Kuja Dosha, they say it is hard to find. No, it is not like that. In the family itself, there'll be people who have Kuja Dosha. That is how it is. Again, when we're talking about Manglik, Kuja Dosha, Mars Dosha, right? There are varied opinions, varied ways as to how people go about and interpret. But let me offer you my meager, I'm nobody. I'm just a Chunamunu astrologer. I'm nobody, right? But let me just offer a small, meager opinion or a statement or a way to look at Kuja Dosha. And if you approve of it, take it, use it. Write down. When Mars is in the 2nd, 4th, 7, 8, 12, it is considered as a Kuja Dosha. 2nd is the Kudumbasthana. 4th is the Sukhasthana. 7th is the Kalatrasthana. 8th is the Ayulsthana. 12th is the Ayana, Sayana, Bohasthana. Right? Of course, in the marriage matching masterclass, considering the fact that we have students from the northern part of India as well. So in the northern part of India, the rules of Kuja Dosha is also applied for Mars in the Lagna. So I've told you how to navigate with it. But generically, if you look at it, 2, 4, 7, 8, 12. This is considered as a Kuja Dosha. So what is Kuja Dosha? Write down. Mars, which indicates one's Sahodara, which means what? Younger sibling. Mars, which indicates Shubhakarya. What are the Shubhakaryas? Every Karya which is Shubha is Shubhakarya, which is what? Marriage, Shubhakarya. Childbirth, Shubhakarya. Graha Pravesha, Shubhakarya. So all of that are Shubhakarya. Ear piercing, Shubhakarya. Right? Tonsuring head, Shubhakarya. So again, Mars, which indicates Shubhakarya, younger sibling. Mars, which indicates property. Mars, which indicates electricity. Mars, which indicates fire. Mars, which indicates teeth. Mars, which indicates Turdal. Why leave that? Add that also. Mars, which indicates Turdal. Mars, which indicates blood. Right? All of this will be a dosha. That's all is Mars dosha, which means what? All of this will be a problem for them. All of this will be bitter for them. That's all. That is all is Mars dosha. That's it. This is what is called as Mars or Kuja dosha. Anybody who has Mars in 2, 4, 7, 8, 12, immediately what we'll do, you should tell, or they will tell, sir, I'm not able to conduct one function also properly in my life. Marriage function, there is some problem or the other. Right? This Graha Pravesha, I'm not able to conduct it with peace. Right? Again, married life is also a problem. Owing to my husband, remember Mars also indicates a husband for a street, there is a problem. I've bought a property, I've bought a place, I'm not satisfied with that. Right? Teeth, that is a problem. Blood, there is a problem. Owing to that blood problem, I'm always itching. Blood relatives, they are also a problem. Don't ask that, sir. Again, burns, I got burnt once, sir. Electricity, one time I got electrocuted, sir. Cylinder, yes, sir. Cylinder also a problem. Gas cylinder is registered in somebody else's name. Or I don't know, in my house only, cylinder gets over quickly. Right? Again, suddenly electricity goes off. Suddenly, the fuse in the transformer goes off. Recently or regularly, I have to pay fine to the EB. I'm not able to pay my EB bill on time. So all those who have 2, 4, 7, 8, 12 Mars in that, they will have this problem. So somebody, he was doing something and he got electrocuted. Again, EB bill is not coming properly. Fire-related problem, teeth-related problem, all of this will be there. This is what is dosha. So he has to go about and contribute to that. In that family, whoever has a Kuja dosha, there will be one person who's unmarried. Right? Either he'll be unmarried or he'll be separated and living in the family. This is how it will be. Right? It could also be the sibling themselves or the co-born themselves. Right? Turdal will only create problem for them, but they will only add Turdal to their diet, because of which what? They will get health problems, complication. Doctor will say you should not eat that, but it is dosha. No, you will end up eating that only and it will create problem. What do I mean by that? See, especially for people in the southern part of India, it means that you eat a lot of sambar. For 2 idli, you will put 2 jug sambar and eat. And owing to that, you will have problem. This is how it is. Right? So this is Mars dosha for you. Right? So I have Mars in Vrishchaka Rashi. See, there are there are exceptions to the rule. That is different. But the moment you see 2, 4, 7, 8, 12, even if it is Vrishchaka, you should take it as what? The impact will be there. Right. Okay, sir, you've told all this. What is the solution? Wherever you're staying, consider that as enough. This is more than sufficient for me. The small house which I have, even if it is a rented house, good, as long as I have a house. That's it. Okay, Mars, which indicates what? Your blood relatives. If they are talking to you, good. If they are not talking, very good. Wherever you are, you be happy. That's it. Teeth, okay, this is the problem. Okay, I cannot do too much with my teeth. Whatever problem is there, I will bear with it. I won't do some tinkering, pasting, plastering, all that with my teeth. Otherwise, what? As it is dosha. If you're trying to do something to make it look good, again, it's going to create a problem. Electricity, right, this is the way it is. Whatever phase I have, I'll keep that. Leaving that 3 phase, 4 phase, 5 phase, all of that is what? It is going to create problem. Electricity, supply is cut. Keep quiet. It'll come back. Current is not coming. I will call the AE. I will call the lineman. I will call him on phone. I will blast him. It is only going to create problem. Which means what? Live with it. That's how it is. This is how it is. So now some people ask this strange question. If Mars is in the second bhava, does it mean I should get married to a person who has Mars in the second bhava? No. Told you in the marriage matching masterclass. Clearly, Kuja Dosha, you get married to a person who has a Kuja Dosha. That's simple. Rule done. This is the way you look at it. So this is how it is. So this is what you should be looking into. Now, Mars in the 7th. People who want to share, those who have Mars in 7th, those who have Mars in Tulam, welcome. People who have doubt even for one thing, you go ahead, you ask, I will sort out your doubts, sir. Mercury in the 7th bhava. So if we complete Mercury, at least Guru and Shukra, we can complete tomorrow and we can have a short session tomorrow, right? Mercury in 7th. Or Mercury in Tulam also, you can write. Which? Just a minute. Okay, all of you can write Mercury in the 7th bhava.
Sir, sorry, can I ask one quick question?
Sure, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
So when we cover all bhavas and all grahas, we will have too many points per graha and bhava to predict, right? So in that case, what priority should we give? I mean, should we give priority to Mercury in 7th bhava, or we should give priority to Mercury in Tula Rashi?
No. See, all predictions will come, irrespective of whether you prioritize or not. But just for the sake of your convenience, right, Ambe? Because see, a person will come to you, you're going to give a limited time, no? And you have to cover.
Right.
And you also need to actually make sure that you do your job well. So first, what I usually tell students to do is start with the bhava adhipati, right? 7th bhava lord here, 7th bhava lord there. Which graha is in the 7th bhava? Like that you go, right? Then if you want to add something, see, it purely depends on the time that you're going to give to the other person. You can predict, right? You can interchange also. Graha in that bhava, bhava adhipati there. Because irrespective of that, predictions have to come. And finally, if you want, add Mars in Tulam as add the graha in Tulam, right?
Okay.
Clear, ma'am?
Yes, yes. But in terms of predictions, everything is anyway going to come true.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you, sir.
Right. And ma'am, as you practice, no, you will know this much is enough. This is what I should tell. This is the question. This is where I should touch. That is what I will be teaching in the practice class. The practice class is basically an open book examination where you combine everything and predict. You just get the knack. And by the way, you get a knack only through practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
But this is the methodical, this is the structured approach that you should proceed with, in learning at least. Okay. This is the route you need to take in astrology. There are no shortcuts in astrology, ma'am. See, 5 years from now, you will be thinking, 5 years, those 5 years before which I spent learning this is helping me now. This is the only profession, ma'am. This is the only profession, ma'am, where you will see it real time. VVIPs. Somebody will be staying in one small street corner, astrologer. Insignificant place. One VIP will be sitting in front of him with folded hands and he'll be listening to him. Do you think he's respecting that person? He's respecting that Shastra. So the more and more you repeat, revise, ma'am, that is when you would get a grip. But this is the way, ma'am. This is the right way. I'm again and again telling you this. Because if you skip this, there are no shortcuts in astrology, ma'am. Then what will happen? Second revision, third revision, fourth revision. Immediately, okay, because I'm giving you the rule, the concept also, no, ma'am. It is not that I'm telling you just to write. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that time,
And
as you revise, then slowly you will get away from, no, I don't need the book. I know. This is the tap, I'll put it like that. This only comes through practice, ma'am. Mercury
Thanks.
in the 7th bhava. You're welcome. Mercury in the 7th bhava. Both the Jataka and the Kalatra. See, always link the logic here. What is Mercury? What does Mercury signify? He's on the 7th bhava. What does the 7th bhava signify? So, keeping that in mind, the Jataka, the Kalatra will be youthful in appearance. See, Mars indicates youth. That is natural youth. Mercury also indicates youth, but little bit of artificiality will be there, right? So that is youthfulness. But nonetheless, that youthfulness will be there for Mars and Mercury in the 7th bhava. Right? There, they won't take care to maintain themselves. Naturally youthful. Here, little bit of care and attention will be there. And the speech, the way they speak, all of that, everything will be youthful in the way they project themselves. Right? Next, number 2, the native or the Jataka will be working in 2 professions, 2 departments. What he will do at times, he will let go of the first job. Right? Second job he will pursue. Second profession he will pursue. Like that. Number 3. Will be involved in writing, sports, stitching, sewing, auditing, will be involved in one of these or more of these departments. Number 4. The Kalatra. Kalatra means what? Spouse. Will have 2 names. Number 5. The Jataka will involve in joint venture or partnership. Number 6. The Kalatra will get the property from her father. If it's a he, his father's side. Which basically means those who have Mercury in the 7th bhava, your father-in-law's property will come to your wife. Your father-in-law's property will come to your husband. That's what I'm trying to tell. Number 7. The Jataka and the Kalatra will have small arguments and they will reach a compromise. Number 8. Will have a good sense of humor. Kalatra. Can also be the Jataka, by the way, because aspecting the Lagna. Number 9. After marriage, there would be a change of place. After marriage, there would be a change of place. Number 10. Even in marriage, there can be a change. So those who have Mercury in the 7th, Mercury in Tula, care should be required. Date of marriage will change. The mantap or the mandapam of marriage will change. At times, I don't have to tell you more. So you should be careful. Right? There'll be a change in marriage. So you should be careful. Number 11. Will have papers, documents that has joint agreement, joint ownership, joint agreement, that will be there. Joint documents. Number 12. Marriage from the maternal uncle's side. Maternal uncle side, through the maternal uncle, a marriage will happen. If Ashubha Graha or Badaka Adhipati is associated, number 13, will get married in the partner or friend's house. Sir, my friend's sister, my partner's sister, I got married. Like that it will come. Number 14. There are also love marriages. Don't put marriages. Basically, what I'm telling is love marriage. Right? So, those who have Mercury in the 7th or Mercury in Tulam, you can tell either love marriage or your sibling will have love marriage. Somebody who is co-bound to you will have a love marriage. Number 15. The Jataka will be interested in sports. Either you watch cricket, play cricket, watch the sport, play the sport, it applies. Will be having a sense of humor. Now, we need to understand Mercury is the Graha which indicates knowledge, education basically, right? Intelligence, let's put it that way. And this is in the 7th Bhava. So, will the Kalatra be educated or not? Again, Mercury, which indicates knowledge, education, is in the 7th. Will the Kalatra pursue education after the marriage or not? So, write down number 17. The Kalatra will be educated. Number 18. After marriage, it will stimulate one to pursue academic knowledge. Can it also mean marriage when somebody is studying? Yes, of course. Marriage while somebody is pursuing their studies. That can also happen here. So you can think from here on, whatever you want to. See, I want you all to understand one important thing here. You studying Jyotisha, especially during this time, is a great punya. Because as I repeat, 5 years from now, you will enjoy the fruits. You'll be thinking, there'll be no words to thank. That 5 years before what I put, the time, the effort that I put. Today I'm enjoying it without, investing anything. That is the way all of you would be thinking. Because astrology is not a joke, right? You see a lot of big VIPs. They'll be queued. Small, somewhere in the alley, somewhere in, a dead end where the astrologer is sitting, dead end of the road. It would be an insignificant place. But you will be amazed to see what a big man is sitting in the small house where there is one astrologer who nobody in that area knows. Nobody knows there is a house also in that area. You'll find such places, right? It is only in astrology, it is only for an astrologer that respect is given. And my respected students, you have to earn that respect. When a person is coming to see a horoscope, he's bringing in what? He's bringing in a plate full of banana, plantain, betel leaf, the araka nut, which is pak, right? On top of that, he's putting a dakshana. What a great honor it is. It is a matter of honor and pride to be an astrologer, a good astrologer, right? This is something that somebody would do when they're going to actually meet a sambandhi to actually go about and cement an alliance. So the same level of respect is given to you. And I want all of you to earn that respect in the society. That is the only purpose why I'm sitting here and I'm teaching you, right? Now, your question here would be, okay, sir, Mercury in the 7th Bhava. Now, let's say, you know what, I have a Kanya Lagna or I have a Meena Lagna or Kanya Lagna, whichever it is, okay? You can look at it in two perspectives, Kanya Lagna, and Mercury gets debilitated in the 7th Bhava. But nonetheless, it also qualifies for a Kendradipatya dosha. So now how will I predict, sir? Does it mean that all of this will vary, right? You should predict as is, right? But Mercury is debilitated in one place. Mercury is getting into a Kendradipatya dosha in one place. So Kendradipatya dosha, naturally you should also be able to tell something pertaining to what? Something pertaining to what you expect in married life is just going to be so-so. Mercury debilitated, immediately you should pick on the Karakatwas of Mercury. Anything to do with the maternal uncle, minus. Anything to do with the marriage from the maternal uncle side, minus. Again, anything to do with love-related marriages, that will be there. But it won't be accepted by many people. This is how it is. So this is the way you navigate based on the Karakatva of the Graha. But in no ways you actually go about and modify the entire prediction. Right? So small changes in the gunas will be there. That's it. The moment you look at Kendradipatya dosha, it actually goes about and creates what? Frictions, problems pertaining to the relationship that you need to have pertaining to marriage. In this case, if at all you had to add. Right? So this is how it is. So also you need to understand another point. We are discussing in general Mercury in the 7th bhava. We are considering as per the Kala Purusha, so Tula. But in your horoscope, this Mercury in the 7th bhava can be in so many rashis, right? So here what we are covering is generic predictions. And the reason all of you are feeling thrilled with these generic predictions is because your idea of generic prediction itself was not generic. Here, even though we are getting into the specifics, I'm still calling it generic. In order to get into the specific prediction, what you're doing or what you should do further, that is what happens. That's what I introduce you in the day 1 sessions. Mercury is in a particular Rashi. Good. What are the qualities? Mercury is in a particular Nakshatra. What are the qualities? That is how you actually need to navigate further. So that is how you actually take it to the next step. Now, Mercury in the 7th, Mercury is getting debilitated. Okay, fine. But he is getting debilitated, fine. But in which Nakshatra is he in? Right? Is that Nakshatra which he is in, is he supporting him or is he not supporting him? Which means current is not there. This is what you're trying to tell, no? The Graha is debilitated. There's no current there. Now, who else is supplying the current? In which Nakshatra he is in? This is also something that you need to see. Now, house there is no electricity supply, but still the light is burning. Now, you need to think, no, why is the light burning? So, is there a line coming from another house nearby? That line, owing to that line, is the light burning in that house? This is also something that you need to check, no? So like that, only you get into the deeper layers, right? And that's the reason I'm teaching you all these little things also while I'm giving you these predictions. Remember, I told you in the previous session, the moment you see Kumbha afflicted, you should say the wife will have some confusion pertaining to the horoscope. The moment you see Kumbha afflicted, you should also say that, something to do with your maternal uncle. Either he won't be married or he'll be separated from his wife or he'll be having some problem pertaining to his married life. So these are the sure shot ways in order to go about and predict tuck. And you need to layer your prediction because remember, astrology is a beautiful art. And how do I learn this beautiful art? Through little by little practice. Don't jam yourself completely. Slowly, steadily, whatever you think is right, whatever way you think is right, proceed. There's nothing right or wrong here. You just proceed based on what I'm giving you, and slowly you would progress and climb up to the next level. So what we are discussing is generic. Deeper and deeper and deeper, it would definitely give you more and more answers. Right? Okay. Now, what is the significance behind the father-in-law's property coming? The 7th indicates what? Your kalatra, your wife or your spouse. The 7th, 9th is the spouse's father, which is your father-in-law. So the 7th, 9th, 4th becomes what? It becomes Kanya again, ruled by Mercury, right? Is in the 7th, which means what? Your spouse will get her or his father's property. That's all. This is the rule. Based on this simple rule, whenever Guru is in Mesha Rashi or is aspecting Mesha Rashi, one will get his father's property. When Mercury is in Tula Rashi, the wife will get her father's property. Does it have to be a wife? No. If it's your spouse, spouse will get his father's property. That is how you should be able to tell. Right? What is the concept here for Mesha Guru? Mesha is the Kala Purusha Lagna. So if Guru is in Mesha, Guru is you. Sorry, Mesha is you, the Lagna. Guru is what? The father's property. Why is it the father's property? The 9th bhava of the Kala Purusha is what? The father. The 9th, 4th bhava is what? Meena Rashi, which is also ruled by Guru. So if Guru is aspecting the Lagna or is in the Lagna, is aspecting you, you will get your father's property. Mercury is in Tulam or aspecting Tulam, right? Similarly, to be specific in Tulam, since we are discussing Mercury in Tulam here, right? Your wife will get her father's property. Right? Somewhere this rule may not work out. Then immediately you should not disown the rule. You should look at, what? Is Guru afflicted? Is Guru afflicted owing to what? An aspect of Ketu. Is he associated with Shani, aspected by Shani? Is he getting into a Shunya? Then what? I was expecting my father's property. I didn't get. That's all. This is the way you navigate across it. Right? So we are done with Mercury in the 7th bhava. Questions? Quickly ask questions. Else, if you're really, really sleepy, not an issue. You can ask tomorrow. But tomorrow, if you ask, that session will be extended. So ask today itself so that tomorrow's session will be quick. Go ahead.
So you told that wife will get the property from the father.
Yeah.
So wife will from the father, or father-in-law is also will be there.
Yeah. Look at the screen here. 7th, no?
Yes.
Spouse.
Yes.
From 7th, which is the 9th.
Third, Mithuna.
Correct?
Yes, Mithuna.
Am I correct?
Virgo.
Ruled by Mercury.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mercury.
Which is what? The spouse's father.
Yes, sir. I have checked that. Yes.
Father's property,
for-
which is it?
Karnya, sir. Yes, I checked that.
So
Means
wife will
question
get
is
her
that-
father's property.
Okay, her father. Yes.
Spouse will
Not a
get her
father.
father's property.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Right. Clear here?
Clear, sir. Actually, that question was regarding that father property or father-in-law property. Has
Father-in-law,
been clear.
yeah?
Sir, I have the same question. Please correct me if I'm understanding it wrong. So this is regarding the property, whether you get it from your father or your wife will get it from her father. So according to my notes, what I wrote, and I think you are trying to tell the bhavat bhavam concept.
Yes.
So please correct or add me as I say this, because I'm putting the notes down. So you said that when Guru is in Aries or aspecting Aries, the native will get his father's property. Could you go ahead and please tell, because I think I missed a few points here about the bhavat bhavam concept. Could you explain how does that work?
Kalapurusha's 9th bhava is the father.
Right.
Father's property, 9th, 4th is Guru, no ma'am?
Fourth.
Lagna
Yes,
is you, no
that's
ma'am?
right.
Okay.
Yes,
All
yes,
right,
yes.
ma'am.
I got that.
Clear, ma'am? Okay.
Yes, is the 12th house ruled by Jupiter. Okay. And then, so then the same thing would apply for the spouse. So for Mercury being in the 7th house or Libra, 9th from Libra or the 7th house would be Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Am I doing this right?
Correct, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. And is this the reason why the Mercury 7th house, so the spouse comes into picture and she gets the property from
7th is the
her
spouse,
father?
ma'am.
Yes, yes, got
7th,
it.
9th is Mercury, which is the father.
Yes.
That 9th, 4th
Father
is
of the
Mercury, which is
spouse.
again what? The spouse's father's property. Correct?
Spouse's father.
Is in the
Yes,
7th.
yes, yes. Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All of you cast an example horoscope. Put Guru in the 7th bhava. First, all of you can write Guru in the 7th. So Jupiter in the 7th bhava, right? So we're going to be predicting for all those who have Guru in the 7th bhava, irrespective of the lagna that you have. And also for those who have Tula Guru, Guru in Tula Rashi. Before we go ahead, I want to bring to all an important point to ponder upon, which can also give you an insight on how to actually make some wonderful predictions. So usually they say, or usually what I would request students to follow is that it's always conducive to have a graha in the 7th bhava. Whatever the graha may be, as long as there is a graha in the 7th bhava and perhaps even the 8th bhava, it's good to have a graha in the 7th and the 8th bhava. In fact, astrology goes on to also enumerate that it is good to have at least one graha in each rashi. Basically, what it is trying to convey is that a rashi should be occupied by a graha. It is considered to be conducive. But then, how can you have all the rashis occupied by grahas? Because at the end of the day, you have 12 rashis, right? And you just have the navagrahas. Of course, you can take Mandi if you want to include. But basically, we are operating with the navagrahas. And there's a purpose for which we use Mandi. So technically, even though we can come into this conclusion that, you know what, a bhava having a graha is considered to be a good thing, but technically you cannot have it, which actually goes on to give you this inference in life that there is literally nobody in the world who does not have a problem. Everybody has a problem. Everybody has some problem or the other, because ultimately all the boxes in the horoscope cannot be filled with grahas. In fact, this also should give you an idea on how to actually direct your predictions very, very easily. Whenever you get a horoscope and you want to predict, immediately you can come to a conclusion that whichever bhava is not occupied by a graha, that would be the question of the karta or the customer who's coming seeking your advice. Whichever. So let us say somebody has the 2nd bhava in the horoscope empty. So you can just come to a conclusion that his question is either going to be pertaining to what? Pertaining to family, pertaining to kutumba, pertaining to his earnings. Likewise, it's obvious that, there could be more than a rashi or a bhava which is unoccupied. To be specific, a bhava which is unoccupied. So there's a beautiful art of interconnecting all the empty boxes or the empty bhavas in the horoscope and coming up with a prediction. And that is also something that you should pay attention to. And of course, all of this would be added slowly and steadily as we proceed sessions after sessions, especially in the advanced classes. So let's say somebody is coming to you with a horoscope and you find that the 2nd bhava in his horoscope is empty. It does not have a graha. The 3rd bhava in his horoscope is empty. It does not have a graha. The 4th bhava in his horoscope is empty. He does not have a graha. So immediately you can actually go about and interconnect these bhavas and predict the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. So the immediate question that should come to your mind is, did you give money, the 2nd bhava, to somebody, the 3rd, as an advance or as a down payment for the purpose of a property, 4th? And do you have some problems pertaining to that? Or weren't you able to finalize on that? Or did you actually leave the pursuit of what you wanted to pertaining to either a land, property, finance after giving some money or after making some initial down payment? And the answer would be an absolute beautiful yes. So this is the beautiful way as to how you can interconnect the bhavas which are unoccupied by the grahas and predict, right? But then, the reason I'm bringing this to your attention here is, at least now people are gaining better, precise knowledge on how Jyotisha needs to be exactly used or the way it used to be used. But when the seventh bhava is empty, which means it does not have a graha, at least in the southern part of India, they say, or they call it a sutta jadakam. Suttam means what? Clean. Technically, what they're trying to say is the seventh bhava is clean. Why is it clean? Because it does not have a graha. But you would find people who have the seventh bhava unoccupied by a graha, there would be a perennial delay in marriage. 30 years, 35 years, still they wouldn't be married. And you're calling the horoscope as a sutta jadaka. Sutta means clean horoscope. Clean means what? It does not have any dosha. Obviously, every horoscope will have some problem or the other. So how is it possible that a horoscope does not have any doshas at all? A horoscope is obviously a mixed amalgamation of the good and bad. So there is nothing called as a literal sutta jataha. And this does not apply even if we have to take this pointer that the seventh bhava should be empty, it should not be occupied by a graha, and it would be considered as a clean horoscope, which would pave way to a married life, a marriage or a good married life. That should not be considered. So it's always good to have a graha in the seventh bhava. The moment you see no graha in the seventh bhava, then you know what? It should come to your conclusion that, you know what? The questions that this person is going to ask ought to be pertaining to what? Marriage, ought to be pertaining to partnership, ought to be pertaining to all that we discussed pertaining to the seventh bhava. So now, write Guru in the seventh bhava. So if Guru is in the seventh bhava, all of you also obviously need to mark where the drishti of Guru is going to be. So Guru would obviously aspect the 11th, Guru would aspect the Lagna, Guru would aspect Mithuna or the 3rd. So for people in the northern part of India, you can also do the marking 11, 1, 3. Right? So the basis of the prediction, as I told you yesterday, you need to combine both of them. Of course, we are going to do an intensive form of a combination in the form of using the Kalapurusha Kundali when we get into understanding the 7th Bhava Lord and the Lagna, the 2nd, the 3rd. That is going to happen post this. But here, you also need to keep in mind, apart from considering the Kalapurusha, you also need to understand the fact that a Graha has its own innate qualities. And he is in a particular bhava, and that would also have its own innate qualities. So when you combine both of them, what would you get? So in this case, write down number 1. The Kalatra will be ritualistic, which means the Kalatra would follow the rituals, the Kalatra would follow the customs. Number 2, the Kalatra would be well off. Would be well off. What do you mean by Kalatra, sir? Kalatra means for a Stree, it is the Purusha or the husband. For a Purusha, it is obviously his wife or his spouse. So basically, we are referring to the spouse here, right? So, number 2, the Kalatra or the spouse will be well off, which means she will be comfortable, she will have the conveniences, or the spouse will be educated. Number 3, a family where there is Putra Dosha. A family where there is Putra Dosha. Whose family? The Kalatra's family, the spouse's family, and the person's family too. Because remember, we discussed and or, you can put it that way. Because we discussed that obviously every Graha in the 7th is going to aspect the Lagna. Number 4, a family in government services. Number 5, whose family? The spouse's family. The children will be out of town, or the children or child will live away from the Jataka. The children will be out of town, right? Or the children will live apart from the Jataka or the native. So they will travel to a distant land, they will travel to a Dura Desha, right? That is what would happen to the children. Number 6, will do partnership business. Why? Because Guru, the Dhanakaraka itself, is getting into the 7th, right? Guru is aspecting the Labhasthana. Guru is aspecting the 3rd bhava of commissions, right? So there would be partnership, or they would actually go about and do partnership business. This would be the case with them. Next, number 7, owing to customers, owing to friends, they will get luck. Remember, Guru is the Kala Purusha's 9th bhava lord. Guru is the Shubha Graha. The 7th indicates partnership. The 7th indicates friends. So owing to friends, owing to partners, owing to customers, they will get luck. So they will have lucky customers. Number 8, will have friends. And owing to friends, they will get luck. Will have friends. And owing to friends, they will get luck. Number 9, they will get name, fame, all that is one department, no? They will get name, fame, development out of one's town or in a foreign land. Why in a foreign land or out of town? Why? Because Guru itself indicates what? It indicates Dura Desha. Why? Because if you take the Lagna, the Guru is the house of Guru itself starts at the 9th bhava. So it is in the 9th bhava that Guru starts. So he's far away from the Lagna. So Guru is considered for Dura Desha. The 7th, again, it indicates what? Out of town. So both of them are meeting. And the 7th, obviously, connected with Guru, indicates what? Their name, their fame. Remember I told you, your name, your fame, your development, all of that is hidden in the 5th house and the 9th house. 5th, it starts. An extension of that is the 9th. So you get your name, you get your fame. Right? All of this happens where? Out of town, in a foreign land. Number 10. The Kalatra, which is the spouse, will be in a responsible role. The spouse will take up some responsibility or the other, which means she would be doing some job or the other. The spouse won't stay idle. She would be doing something or the other. Number 11. The native will be involved in public services. What do you mean by public services? Government, public affairs, politics, anything to do with the well-being of the public. So one simple example is the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, which is Madam J. Jayalalitha. She has Guru in the 7th bhava in the horoscope, right? So the moment you see Guru in the 7th bhava itself, or for that matter in Tula, the attraction, the pride, all of this will come to them from the public. There will be a pride associated with them. There will be attraction that will come from the public. There will be a respect and appreciation that will come from the public. Why? Because we are referring to the 7th, where Shani gets exalted, which indicates what? Public. Number 12. So now Guru is also aspecting the 3rd bhava. So the native will come up in life or improve in life owing to one's own self-effort. The native will come up in life, improve in life, owing to one's own self-effort. Number 13. Now, Guru is in the 7th. So the 7th indicates your spouse, and Guru is a Graha which indicates the customs and rituals. So the Kalatra or the spouse will like to give upadesha. What do you mean by upadesha? They would like to keep giving advice on something or the other to somebody. So they would keep giving advice. They would like to give advice to other people. Number 14. There would be some problems and at times separations in the married life. Write down, which means Guru in the 7th Bhava is suitable for public affairs and religious purposes and not for marriage completely. Number 15. There are many people who've pursued their father's occupation. Next. If Ashubha Grahas are associated, which means even if you see one Ashubha Graha associated, right? Number 16 will have Putra Dosha. So 30% of people who have Guru in the 7th Bhava or Guru in Tula Rashi, they will be having a Putra Dosha. Again, the moment you see Ashubha Graha associated, immediately you should pounce and tell, is there a problem pertaining to your child? Either is the problem pertaining to the fact that you don't have a child, or is the child away from you, apart from you, or was the child born and did the child pass on or pass away? So these type of things will be there. Putra Dosha. Why are we considering Putra Dosha here? Right? See, one is the simple interpretation that all of you obviously would always try to actually connect. Okay, Guru, he's a Graha who's inimical to Shukra, and Guru is in the house of Shukra. So is it the right way to interpret? Yes, absolutely. That is also one of the right ways to interpret. But I would like to actually add on something which can actually go about and aid you further, not just pertaining to Guru in the 7th Bhava, but even for a whole lot of other things, right? Okay, now write down that, write down this. When, and all of you just come close to your chat box, right, while you write. So write down the rule. When Guru is in the house where Sun gets into a debilitation, when Guru is in the house where Sun gets into a debilitation, in bracket you can write Tulam, or the 7th Bhava, when Guru is in the house where Sun gets into a debilitation, bracket Tulam, or the 7th Bhava. Why? Because Tulam is where Sun gets debilitated, which is the Kalapurusha's 7th Bhava. So in a horoscope, whenever you see Guru either in Tulam or in the 7th from your horoscope, write down. Point number 2. Now, keeping this in mind, you need to help me out with point number 2, not by unmuting yourself, but by putting it in the chat box. When Sun is in the sign where Guru gets debilitated, in bracket, you put as Makara, Makar, or Magaram, or what would the answer be? Or, all of you tell me, or, now you need to tell, I've given you the logic, no? Now you need to tell me, or, very good, 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 very good. Sun is in the house where Guru gets debilitated, or in the 10th Bhava. Immediately you should tell one word answer. There is a problem pertaining to child. Either you don't have a child or you have concerns pertaining to a child, right? Which means either you don't have a child, If you have a child, there is a problem pertaining to your child. Or what? There is a miscarriage. The answer would be an immediate yes. Right? So I'm again repeating the rule for you so that you don't forget it in your lifetime. Right? The fifth bhavadibadi of the Kalapurusha gets debilitated where? In Tula Rashi. Right? So when you see Guru in Tula Rashi, or when you see Guru in the 7th Bhava in the horoscope, right? Or Guru gets debilitated in Makara Rashi. So when you see a sun in Makara Rashi, or when you see a sun in the 10th Bhava in the horoscope, immediately you can pronounce that there is a problem pertaining to a child. Either you don't have a child, or even if you have a child, there's a problem, or there is a miscarriage pertaining to the child, right? So all of you can vouch for this or talk about this in your own horoscope when I give you the opportunity. So you can immediately tell that, you know what, there would be a miscarriage. Some problem or concern will be there pertaining to the child. This will be there. So one is what? The 5th Bhava Lord, which is the Putra Sthana of the Kalapurusha. The other is the Putra Karaka, that is Guru. So this is the concept here. Okay. This is for this. But there's also another parallel rule that would be very, very useful for you. When the 7th Bhavadibadi, write down, this is rule number 3, which is not related to Putra, but it is related to what? Marriage or Kalatra. When the 7th Bhavadibadi in the horoscope is in the Rashi where the Kalapurusha's 7th Bhavadibadi gets debilitated. So what do I mean by this here? When the 7th Bhavadibadi is where? In Kanya Rashi, correct? So whenever you see the 7th Bhava in Kanya, 7th Bhavadibadi in Kanya Rashi, then immediately you should predict that there is either a barrier or there is either a concern pertaining to one's married life. So anybody who has the 7th Bhavadipati in Kanya Rashi, but as long as it is in the Kanya Rashi where the Kalatra Karaka Shukra gets debilitated, the Kalapurusha's Kalatra Sthanadibadi Shukra gets debilitated, immediately you should predict that yes, there is a concern pertaining to a marriage. So what can be the concern pertaining to a marriage that you're going to cover one by one by one? First, I'm going to cover, I'm taking you through the Grahas in the Bhava, Bhavadibadi in the Bhava, that will also happen. Then as you move on and on, you will get finite answers. But problem is there. This is what you should come to a solution on, right? So this is how it is. Which means all those who have Meena Lagna, you can take Rashi also, but all those who have Meena Lagna. So the 7th Bhava itself becomes what? Kanya. That is where Shukra gets into a debilitation. So the general rule is whenever you get a Meena Lagna, there should be care and attention pertaining to what? Pertaining to one's marriage or pursuing one's marriage. So why? Because for Meena Lagna, the 7th Bhava itself becomes Kanya, and that is where the Kalapurusha 7th Bhava Adivadi gets into a debilitation. So this is like a generic check or a generic warning for all people, those who have Meena Lagna, right? So what do I mean by, be careful, be careful? Be careful means you should also look into the other constituents of marriage. So how is the 7th Bhava really? How is the 2nd Bhava in the horoscope? How is Shukra really? So you look at all the other aspects, but this is like the first check. It immediately gives you that, what? Pay attention here. Look at me. This is what is going to be there. This is indicated. Confirm on this further. Or see if there is no problem and then proceed. This is what I'm telling you. See, respected sir and respected ma'am, you need to understand that one's Vithi, destiny, or fate is all potent, is almighty, right? It's extremely mighty. You may call yourself as a clever person. You may call yourself as a smart person, as a competent person. But you know what? There will be one day when you suddenly get tense or get into some tension mode. And in that mode or in that small situation or that moment of panic, you would end up taking a decision that you never would have taken in life, right? Irrespective or in spite of you being an extremely clever person. You know how to tackle life. But in the spur of a moment, you wouldn't even know why I did that, how I did that. But owing to, some thought, owing to some tension, you would just take a decision which is not conducive for you. So this is something where the care should be. Is it a love marriage? Marriage, is there a problem? During marriage, is there a fight, quarrel? Or did somebody pass on when somebody was getting married? All these things are something which you need to check out for when we are looking into this, right? So now the question here is, like somebody asked me yesterday, sir, what if in the 7th bhava I have a guru and I have some other graha, like for example, Rahu? So that is what is going to be covered, no? So now, till now, let us say you have a guru, let us say you have a Mercury together. So you need to actually combine all of them and predict, because a graha keeps no arrears. A graha has to perform its duties come what may. So it will actually go about and do its job, right? This is how it is, right? So this is for guru in the 7th bhava or guru in Tulam. And always keep this in mind as you're covering one thing, leave a small gap here, leave a small gap of 2 or 3 pages, because you also need to keep writing a whole lot of things, right? Like for yesterday, I told you, if Guru is associated with Mesha, then it means you will get your father's property, right? If Mercury is what? Is in Tulam, immediately you can come to a conclusion that your spouse will get her father's property or his property. Now somebody will come and say, sir, but my father does not have any property. My father-in-law does not have any property. That is not the point. First, you should know the rule. And then when somebody actually is saying, no, I didn't get my father's property, why? Why you didn't get it? Was it afflicted owing to a Ketu? Was it afflicted owing to a Shani? Is it getting into a Titi Shunya? That is the next step, right? So when you're just passing by and when you're going on the road, you're traveling and you see, a pack of barrels stacked on top of each other, just right on the road, covering the entire road. Definitely, you should not just turn back and go back. No, that is not the way you proceed in life, right? So you would look here and there. You would see if there is a way out and navigate on a path that leads to your destination. That is how astrology is. And that is the way you should actually go about and practice. Okay. So now, for all those who have Guru in the 7th Bhava, you can share. For all those who have Guru in the 7th Tulam, you can share. For those who have any questions, you can ask questions. Go ahead one by one. Before that, raise your hands. All of you put Shukra in the 7th Bhava. Yes, PX 1257.
Vanakkam, I'm still not very clear on the point wherein you said there would be some problems and at times separation in the married life. Would that be the case with Jupiter being in the 7th house? Being the Kalpurusha 12th Lord, is that what you are saying?
No, here is where you need to start applying the rule that, Guru and Shukra are completely opposite to each other, right? That is the only place. One by one, I will tell you when to apply, when not to apply this.
Okay, so is that the only reason? Because
that is the one primary reason. Yeah, you can take the 12th Bhava Lord is also getting into the 7th. Like that also you can take. But usually he is not comfortable in the place of Kalatra here. Right?
It's like Guru in the Kalatrasthana. Deva Guru in the Kalatrasthana.
Is it clear or do you want me to elaborate further?
No, sir, it's clear now.
All right. Okay. All right. PX 1243.
Good evening, sir. I'm not clear about the Venus bit, sir. That Venus in Virgo is something you discussed. But when we are discussing Jupiter in
I just
Tula,
added to that, ma'am. I just added to that. So that, with the flow, I gave you that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
If you want, I can share one example.
So I will slowly, one by one only, I will tell you how you need to actually interconnect the grahas. Because till now, I'm not making two grahas inimical to each other. But you also need to understand the basic nature of two grahas. And this nature of two grahas should be sparingly applied, not always. For everything, you should not tell Mars and Shani are enemies with each other. Shani and Sun are enemies with each other. No, there is a time to apply it, and there is a time to, take it very, very sparsely and not take it too liberally. So that time I would explain that to you. That time only you take it, right? Okay. Again, during Dasha Bhukti also I will tell. See, when you see a Guru Dasha, Shukra Bhukti, Shukra Dasha, Guru Bhukti, see what Guru is trying to give, Shukra won't give. What Shukra is trying to give, Guru will obstruct. So these type of things will be there. Similarly, Mercury Dasha, Chandra Bhukti or Chandra Dasha, Mercury Bhukti. Chandra Dasha, Mercury Bhukti may work out for a person. But Mercury Dasha, Chandra Bhukti, it will be extremely difficult for a person. So these are the little things, it should come in an order. It should not be just bombarded to you. Otherwise, you know what? You would generalize everything. That should not be the case. Okay.
Okay.
So here, the example that a person gave, Vrishchika Lagna, 7th Bhava Adhipati, 7th Bhava Lord itself is Shukra. He is getting into what? He may be getting into the 11th, but he is debilitated. So it's easy to predict. But whenever you get a horoscope and you see the 7th Bhava Adhipati, whoever it is, right? The moment you see it in Kanya, immediately you should predict that there's problem with married life. Be careful. That's what. And I'm just using the word care. Why I'm using the word care here is you should analyze the complete horoscope before you give it a go ahead. Right? How do you analyze the complete horoscope from the perspective of marriage? There are two components of marriage. One is the family part of it. The other is the relationship part of it. So at least will it survive for the family part of it, if not the relation part of it? Or will it survive for the relation part of it, if not for the family part of it? There would be people who would say that we are living together or we are with each other as a husband and wife because we have a child, we have a family. This is one category. There's another category of people who say that, we don't need children. We are not bothered about children. We just want to be with ourselves. So what is it? This much you should know, right? Okay, go ahead. Anybody else has any other question? Again, if every word you're writing, I'm waiting to give you an answer. But you need to ask me, what is the logic behind this? That is the only way you can remember the rule. Otherwise, you'll forget it. That's the only reason I'm telling students to share their part, because you will know, okay, it's working. And second is you can connect with their stories to remember. Okay, put Shukra Bhagwan in the 7th Bhava. Shukra Bhagwan in the 7th Bhava. Shukra or Shukra in Tula Rashi. So this is called as Karaka Bhava Nasti. For people in the northern part of India, write it as Karako Bhava Nashaya. Okay. So this is called as Karako Bhava Nasti or Karako Bhava Nashaya. Now, immediately don't start building something over it. Don't start imagining something over it, because I'm just going to tell you exactly what it is going to do. Number one, will live apart from their relatives. See, relationship. This thing called as relationship. The relatives, the relationship that you need to have, they will live apart from that. Number two, will live apart from their spouse, which is the wife, the husband, if it is a stree. Right? So they live apart from their relatives. They live apart from the spouse. Number three, many people have night duty. You find many people who have Shukra in the 7th Bhava, they'll be doing some night duty or the other. That's all. This much only is there. Right? So this is not something to actually get frightened about. Right? Number four. In the Kalatra's family or the spouse's family, there will be people working in the banking sector or in the teaching sector. Shukra is the second bhava lord, right? What is Kalatra? Again, I repeat, if it's a male, we are referring to the wife. If it's a female, we are referring to the husband, the spouse, basically. Number 4, the Kalatra will earn. The Kalatra will earn. She will be making some money or the other, right? Number 5, the Kalatra will be talkative. The Kalatra will be talkative. Same. For one answer, she will have an answer. For one answer, he will have an answer. Right? Tata, Buddha, they will be talking. You see in houses where suddenly women start going for work, if at all women haven't been working for a while, and the husband will say, nowadays you have started talking because you've started going for work. It's not that she's talking because she's going for work. Shukra in the 7th bhava, that talkative nature will be there. You're connecting that with this. So that is your fault, not the spouse's fault. Right? But basically, Kalatra will be talkative. The Kalatra will go for a job. Number 6, the natives' earnings will be out of town. Number 7, the native will get a good paying udyoha job. So whoever has Shukra in the 7th bhava, or for that matter, if Shukra is strong in the horoscope, you can immediately give this one word answer that, you know what, you will get a good job. You will get a good paying job. Your job, your income will be good. This one word answer, not just for Shukra in the 7th bhava. The moment you see Shukra well placed in the horoscope, exalted in the horoscope, the Mula Trikona, in its own sign, in its Svarashi, right? In its own nakshatra, immediately you should say, somewhere you will get a good paying job, you will get money, you will get good income, right? Who are we referring to here? We are referring to the Jataka, right? Why are we referring to Shukra in the 7th bhava specifically, which will actually give them good earnings? Which is the bhava for Udyoha? The 6th bhava. Am I correct? Which is the second for the 6th bhava? See, you're going for Udyoha, 6th bhava. The earnings of the bhava, which indicates what? Udyoha is which bhava? The 7th bhava. Right? The second from the 6th, or the 6th second. That is strong here. Why? Because Shukra is in his own sign. Right? So immediately the earning will be good. Number 8, will start earning from a young age. As soon as they complete their degree or their education, immediately they would get a job. They would start earning. Number 9, the Jataka will get gifts. Number 10, the Jataka will have respect amongst the public. Public means anybody apart from you is public. So amongst other people, they will have a respect. Number 11, many people get married amongst their relative circle. Not all, many people, which is called as a consanguine marriage or the known circle, right? Based on the community or the society. Or love marriage, in bracket, marriage to the person they desire. That's all. Right? So you can write, many people get married amongst their relative circle, family circle, consanguine marriage, known circle. A few of them have or pursue marriage as per their desire. In bracket, you put as love marriage. Number 12. There would be a female co-born with the Kalatra. The Kalatra will have the spouse will have a female co-born sister. Number 13. They will marry the first girl or the first boy they meet. See, not literally, okay? First alliance. A lot of people say, no. So we started looking out for alliance. First horoscope we got. First alliance we got. Immediately we finalize the girl. Immediately we finalize the boy. So this comes here, right? So they will get married to the first alliance, the first person who they meet. Next. If Ashubha Grahas are associated, number 14, barriers, impediment to marriage. This is where Karako Bhava Nashaya or Karaka Bhava Nasti has to be checked. So you see what? You see Shukra in the 7th Bhava, it is Karako Bhava Nasti. But you see the 7th Bhava is heavily afflicted or Shukra is heavily afflicted, then immediately you should say, you know what? Getting married itself will be a problem or you will get separated. This is where it works intensively. Number 15, regular points. The native will have a female child. Number 6. The second child will be born quickly. For whom? The native. Right? So if the first child is born, immediately, maximum 1-2 years, that's it. The second child will be born. Right? Write down the rule. Put rules. In a separate notebook, you keep rules. And you also put the page number where you've written it down so that you can revise also from time to time. When the 7th Bhavadipati, else Shukra, attains strength in the horoscope, the second child will be born quickly. The gap between the second child and the first child will be 2 years or 1 year. Anybody who has, they can share. Not now. Once we done. Number 19. The Jataka will have education away from one's town. Number 15. The native will have development after marriage. Right. So this is for Venus or Shukra Bhagwan in the 7th Bhava. Similarly, this is also very, very important. You should write this down. Write down. If Shunyadipati or Badakadipati, Shunya Lord, or getting into a Shunya, or Badaka, Badaka Lord are associated, the person who they meet, they will get married first. How is it? If it's strong, the first person they meet, they will get married. Who? This person. But if it is associated with the Shunyadipati or Badakadipati, whoever they meet, that other person, they will get married first. You will have one group like this, right? They will go on telling, sir, every girl I meet, they get married fast. I'm just like this. I'm still a bachelor, right? Like this, you will find many people, right? So those who have this, you can share. Okay. Now the question here is, and this also applies the other way around. See, it's not specific only for a boy being a bachelor. It also applies to the girl. The girl will also say, sir, every alliance my parents are seeing, I'm not getting, but that other boy, he's getting married somewhere quickly. So this will also, right? When it is associated with Shunyadipati Badaka. Or. Okay. Now, an important question here is, sir, Karaka Bhavanashaya, Karaka Bhavanasti. So does it actually lead towards separation? There are so many example horoscopes. Same, there's a Vrishaka Lagna. Okay, Rishabha, the 7th. In Rishabha itself, Shukra. Separation is there. So now you need to link. Is the 7th bhava afflicted heavily? So if something to do with, if there are too much of affliction associated with the 7th bhava, or it is afflicted, then what it does is, yes, it gives bitterness, it gives separation, it gives delay itself in getting marriage, right? This is how it is. But the moment they go for something to do with, night duty, traveling for the purpose of work, especially traveling away from the native, away from one's hometown, or going to a out of station, out of town for work, the impact is very, very minimal and it hardly does anything, right? So I want you all to leave space, think on your own, write more points on your own, right? That is when you would be able to apply better. And from next month onwards, I would be also introducing the practice sessions. Now, I don't know when it will happen, how it will happen, because the schedule is always packed. But 1 hour a month, you should have practice session. Remember, there was a student who was telling, sir, we've learned, now how do we apply? So I would take you through that also. Where do you start? How do you start? How do you actually start your consultation? How do you go about with the prediction? I will share you example horoscopes, and you just need to listen and practice accordingly. And that will also be done, right? In a month, at least 1 hour, I will give you. So timing will be in the night only. See, the night time is basically because the consideration is by 6 o'clock, all of you would come from the office, and 7 o'clock, there would be a session, or 8 o'clock, there would be a session sometime. So for practice, 1 hour every month will come. You just need to attend. And I would take you through how you need to start, how you need to go about and frame your prediction. Where do you start, right? So all of that would come. So that is for those who are interested, right? If you're not interested, if you're saying, sir, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, TV serial is there, Big Boss is there. Oh, okay, watch Big Boss. Don't come for the class because you're not going to even pay for these sessions. These are all practice sessions are going to be free, right? So you just need to attend them and you would get your answers. And you will also get a clarity on how to actually proceed with it. So that will also happen. And if there are people who are like, you know what, this is enough. I think I know how to apply it on my own. And you may have developed your own style of going about with the predictions based on what I'm giving. That's also absolutely fine. You don't have to, literally only follow what I'm telling, right? Everybody has a style. And if you feel, no, sir, I need to learn a little more on how to actually go about and combine everything and how do I start, I'm having the starting block, then I would obviously go about and take you through that.